Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. Please, on the chat, let me know if you can hear me. We have a pretty big delay on the chat today, so YouTube always has about a 20-second delay, so please bear with me if we have any problems here or if you guys are waiting for me. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. So thank you so much for being here. I just noticed that it already starts badly. I just noticed that I had the sound on there as well. So thank you so much for being here. Welcome to this stream. This is a very special stream. I'm super excited to do this. It's an actual blast that we have been like preparing the stream for weeks and weeks and weeks now. And thank you so much for being here. There's almost 200 people watching here. So today is going to be a very special stream, as I said. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We're also going to be doing some compositing. We're also going to be chatting with the chat as well. We'll be here for a few hours. I don't know exactly how long it will be. It will be at least an hour. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to take care. But we'll see how we go. Like, if we have a lot of questions, maybe we'll extend the stream. I always do a lot of streams anyway, but I'm trying to do this as tight as possible. Anyway, to start with, let me just say that I would like to thank the amazing support I had on this stream. So this stream would not be possible with the support, it wouldn't be possible if I didn't have the support of ActionVFX, which you all know as one of the best places in the world to get stock footage. I couldn't have done this stream also without the Foundry. Foundry, of course, makers of Nuke, Modo, Katana, a bunch of softwares, and also big supporters of Hugo's Desk. Thank you so much for that. And also, I couldn't have done this stream without Fox RenderFarm as well. They were the ones supporting us and helping us rendering this shot. Which, by the way, I don't know if you all know yet that, because I don't think I've announced that. We are going to be giving out the shot for free to the internet. So the shot you're going to see today, the comp that we are going to make today, we're not going to finish the comp, of course, because nothing gets finished in an hour. But the comp we're going to be doing today, we will make it available to everyone, the full render, like the full quality render with all the AOVs, with all the passes, with all the cameras, with everything. For you to use on your showreel, for you to practice, for you to use it as you wish on your own projects, also to train, especially for training, and not as a commercial, of course. You cannot sell it or you cannot like do another tutorial. But if you want to use it on your reel or if you want to use it for training, we will be giving away. And of course, that would not be possible without the amazing support of our sponsors. So thank you so much to ActionVFX, thank you so much to Foundry, and thank you so much to Fox RenderFarm. You guys are the best. So that's for today. And also, so I'll be giving access to, I see that I already have one dislike. Thank you. Thank you so much for the person that disliked this stream. Thank you so much for disliking even without starting the stream. That is amazing. I like it. It's like a vote of confidence to have one dislike. Anyway, as I was saying, we are going to be giving away all the footage probably it will be by tomorrow or maybe at the end of the stream. I don't know yet, but just follow me on social media. I'll eventually send out all the footage and we'll make a place for it to be available for you to download as well. I also would like to thank Sajeel from RockStar. He was also fundamental to make this project happen. He was the one that did all the CG. He was the 3D artist behind this shot. So actually, let's just start with that, showing you the shot that we're going to be looking into today. So I'm going to just switch this to this here. So keep in mind that this is not final, okay? This is just a first pass at compositing. It doesn't have any people, as you notice there. So this is just, work in progress. This was the CG shot. Oh, sorry, your actually needs to be cropped. Sorry about that. You need to kind of just make it reformatted there to HD. Otherwise, you won't see it. There you go. So now you probably should see it in full screen. So this is the shot that we're going to be working on today. It's was done by Sajeel, more commonly known as RockStar, CG RockStar. He did all the render and he did everything here. So thank you so much to that, Sajeel, as well. He also has just uploaded a video about the making of this on the side of Maya. This was made in Maya and it was made with Redshift as well. So thank you so much, Sajeel, for that. So I'm going to swap this over to my desktop so that I can do some acknowledgements as well. So yeah, so this will be the shot we're going to be using. I'll come back to that in a second. I also wanted to give you all the heads up that we will... Yeah, so like I said, couldn't have done this without the Foundry, so thank you so much for that. Feel free to go into Foundry's website and sign up for 30 days free for Nuke. I'll put the link on the chat as well. There you go. So thank you so much for the support and for this project. Also, thank you so much to ActionVFX. So ActionVFX, which just launched the crowd VFX replication, and also go and check them out. We're gonna have we're basically gonna have a giveaway from ActionVFX today. ActionVFX was very kind to give away $750 on store credit for anyone to use on their credit store. So we'll be giving away that credit more to the end of the stream. So stick around to maybe you are one of the lucky people that will get the $750 as well. And last but not least, if you need some support to render on the cloud, they can render pretty much everything. Go and check Fox RenderFarm. They are a premier establishment to do rendering on the cloud. They can do Redshift, they can do Arnold, they can do a bunch of types of rendering. They were fundamental for us to be able to render this. So thank you so much to Fox RenderFarm as well for your support. So go in and give some support to all of them, because without them, we couldn't have done this entire project. And I'm hoping that we can have more projects like this. Also, we have two giveaways, as I said. I'm going to be giving away... not me, ActionVFX will. So ActionVFX is going to be giving away $750 store credit on ActionVFX, which can allow you to buy the crowd collections, which is new. If you want to sign up to this, you just need to follow this. Maybe they don't support Arnold. I thought they did. Sorry. So go into there to that link. If you want to be part of the giveaway, you just need to basically log in and do 3 of these things. Either follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Patreon, follow me on YouTube, or on my other YouTube. So if you do all 3, 3 of those things, you can enter the giveaway. So basically this giveaway is going to be open here for 2 hours. So make sure, we're probably going to do it before 2 hours, but make sure you go and sign up to this giveaway if you want to have a chance to have $750 of store credit. Hi, Tiago. I can see Tiago saying saudations from Portugal. Muito obrigado por estares aqui. Okay, so we have a second giveaway as well, which will be later to the stream. Also, if you want, I will be giving away 1 free license of my Nuke course. So this is the Nuke course that I've made on Patreon. It's a 150 classes long. It's 70 hours long. It's really big. It's really, really huge. So if you want to have a free copy of my course, which costs £500, just sign up to that giveaway. So we have 2 giveaways, as I said. 1 giveaway from ActionVFX, $750, and 1 giveaway from me for the Nuke course as well. So that's the giveaways out of the way, and I'm just gonna say thanks to everyone by saying thank you. Thank you so much to my sponsors. Much appreciated. Okay, so with all of this out of the way, I also would give one last shout out to CG RockStar. CG RockStar is the artist that made the CG that we are going to see today. Make sure you follow him on Twitch. He does a lot of streams on Twitch. Make sure you do that as well. He's also on the chat, as you probably notice as well. And also, don't forget to follow him on YouTube as well. So if I go in here to YouTube, he should have his YouTube thing. I guess not. So I need to actually go and type on YouTube. Come on, man. You don't have your YouTube link there? You should have had your YouTube link there. Sorry, I'm not showing your screen. Sorry. Look at that. Already doing problems here. So as I was saying, don't forget to follow CG RockStar on Twitch. He does a lot of streams. Go and support this man. Sajeel is actually on the chat here as well. And if you want, you can also go to YouTube and support him as well. And by the way, he also has, so this is his YouTube channel. I'm going to just put it on the chat here as well. Sorry for all of this. I just need to like say hello to everyone and give thanks to everyone, and then we can get going. So if you want as well, Sajeel was just so kind to actually load up the speed run of what he did here for this shot. So this is basically him on Maya in Redshift making this shot happen. So this is basically a speed run part 1. So go and check that out as well. And go and support my friend Sajeel on YouTube as well. He needs a lot of support. You go and subscribe to his channel. It's completely free to subscribe, okay? So you need to go and do it. So yeah, I guess that's it. People on the chat saying, how do you get into the giveaway? The giveaway, as I said, you can just either sign up on that giveaway or you can sign up on this giveaway. So there's 2 giveaways. I'll be just basically posting it every once in a while on the link on the chat. So feel free to do that, you know. So go and check those out as well. So we already have 124 entries on this one, and we already have 218 entries on this one. That's good. That's good. I think I forgot to put the thing where we limit to just 1 person per email. I forgot. I think I forgot. So we can probably have more. We'll see. Anyway, it's time to commence this thing. So I just wanted to let everyone know that obviously this shot is very complex. And I'm going to continue be working on this shot for a while, not just on this stream, but also on Twitch and also on my Nuke course as well. Because this is such a complex shot. But the reason why I wanted to go through this shot today, which this, by the way, is basically the raw render. I haven't really comped much on it, is because I wanted to show you how I approach a shot like this and what are the advantages as well of doing something that would be done with deep compositing as well. This is also an ACES render, which that doesn't really matter. It's just because it's a better system for color space. But this is mainly a deep compositing exercise. And the reason why I brought this in deep was because I just feel like there is not a lot of high production value information about deep in the web. There's some videos and some tutorials, but not advanced ones. And so that's why I'm doing this one. So yeah, keep in mind that this is just for the stream. We're going to be working on this for like a few hours. And then I'm going to do a full tutorial about this shot on my Patreon. So then later on, you can buy that if you want to. That will be a 12-hour long workshop, which I go through the entire thing. But that will be available on Patreon later on. And of course, my students on my course will get it for free already. So let's just talk a bit about, before we even start anything, let's talk a bit about, you know, what we have here. So this is just a pre-comp that I made here. Let's just look at the renders themselves. So this is, as I said, this is the raw render that Sajeel made, already very high quality that he created. As you can see, it's very heavy to cache into playback. The reason for that is because, you know, it is like an EXR with multi-pass EXRs. It has all the AOVs inside the single EXR. So it's very heavy and it's very hard to cache. So at the moment, this shot here, I'm going to just like stop on one of these nice cars. We have baked motion blur on Redshift. We have some issues with the motion blur, but we'll talk about that in a second. And as you can see here, we have all the AOVs. So this is how I like to work. And again, big disclaimer that not everyone needs to work like I do. You know, like obviously I like control. I like to have control on my scripts. And so I rendered out, yeah, so people on the chat is asking if they can download these assets. Yes, you can. I will make all these assets available for free. Not right now because I'm doing a stream, but, and I apologize that I couldn't do it before, but it will be available to everyone. I will make it available. So just follow me on social media because I am going to drop it on social media on all my social media platforms. So you will know where the footage is, don't worry. And you can download it and then kind of, and as I said, you can download it to use as practice or for training, for your own training. You can use it on your show reel. but you cannot use it for resale and you cannot use it for your own tutorials, okay? I just wanted to put it out there. You can only use it for your own personal showreel or for your own personal training. Just wanted to put it out there as well. So yeah, I will let everyone know. Don't worry about that. My God, we already have 300 people on the stream. This is amazing. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. I made the stream a bit earlier today so I could also have more people, because I have a lot of people complaining, oh, I can't go to your stream because it's too late. So I made it a bit earlier today. So I know it's work time at this hour, but it will be available. So VFX Buddy, don't worry, it will be available. Just follow me on social media, Twitter or on Patreon or on Facebook. It will all be there. Everyone will see it. And also when this video is published, I'll put the link on the bottom as well. Okay. So as I was saying, no one has to work this way, but I like to have control. So that's why I have all these AOVs, and we're going to go through them in a minute. And the reason I have AOVs is because I like to tweak things in comp. I like to have the freedom of tweaking and art directing a shot in composite. Obviously, not everyone likes to do that. Some people don't use AOVs. Some people just use cryptomats. We also have that. But keep in mind that the method that I'm describing here is a method that would be more usable for a film pipeline, because if you don't have a lot of time to comp a shot, if you are rushed with time, you have a really strong deadline, there's really no way you can deliver, like composite all these AOVs, you know? Like sometimes if you only have a few days to comp a shot, just a cryptomat will do. So keep in mind that the amount of AOVs you have and the amount of passes and the amount of deep or not deep will really be reflected on, like it will all have to do if you have the time, the deadline, or the budget to go through those things, okay? So I just wanted to let everyone know that. So yeah, just wanted to let everyone know. Okay, so AOVs I have here, typical AOVs. I have, of course, the alpha channel. Look at that. Glad we have an alpha channel. So we have the ambient occlusion, which is a fake shadow pass that I always like to render. I asked Sajeel to do it. We also have a diffuse light. This is with no lights, no reflections, no refractions, just the pure color information of the scene. I like to have this because this allows me to kind of tweak things like changing a color of a cement or a car or something. And because it's below the AOVs, I can then tweak it like that. We also, of course, have the diffuse light. This will allow you to basically have just the color information plus the lights. And then we of course have the diffuse lighting raw, which is with no texturing information, but only the light information as well. We then have the emission, which is anything that is self-illuminated, as we know in V-Ray, or something that is illuminated. In this case, we have the logos of all of our sponsors and neon, and then we have some lamps, and of course, also I love this little touch that Sajeel made. We have like the brake lamp, like the brake lights, the brakes of the car becoming almost burning up, which is really nice touch. So, and we then also have the global illumination, or GI, or in Arnold you know it as the indirect light. The other light was the direct light in Arnold. We also have the global illumination raw. We also have the reflections, pure reflections, and as well. We have the reflection filter, which is usable for you to use with the raw reflections. And then, of course, we have the raw reflections as well. We have the refractions, which is everything that is like glass material, semi-transparency, like the glass and everything. So there's no blender here, no. So there's a bunch of questions here. And by the way, if you guys have questions, feel free to use the super chat. The super chat will allow you to ask questions, and then it's highlighted so that I can see them. So I also, obviously, I understand the super chat is not free, but you can just pay $1 if you want to highlight your question. Then I'm for sure going to see it and I'm going to answer it, okay? And obviously, feel free to either do a super chat to support the channel with $1, or become my Patreon, or become my member on YouTube, because it really helps make the channel alive and makes the channel still go through and supports all these kind of streams. So if you like what we're doing here, really like support the channel, you know, so that we can kind of continue doing these kind of things for free. So it really, like, Hugo's Desk is completely it's completely fan funded, you know. It wouldn't have existed without you all. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so this is the refraction. Then we have refraction filter, which is the filter for you to tweak the refractions raw, which is this one here, which is all the refractions without any intensities of light. We then have shadow pass. We have a specular light as well with hard reflections. This is what we call in Arnold direct specular. Then we have translucency, which is kind of like a subsurface scattering, but it's, for this case, it's for the tents there. We have translucency GI raw and translucency light raw as well. We have the translucency tint, which is the amount of translucency we have on the tent. And of course the RGB. So that kind of like sums up the actual renders, you know, the actual renders we have on the beauty. And this is a beauty with 16-bit of quality on EXR. I always render 16-bit for the beauty and then 32-bit float for the utility passes. The utility passes are here. We also have a beautiful utility pass that, well, this is not really an utility pass, but I'll show you the utility passes, which are here. You can see we have the normals pass and all the other ones. But this is, I need to show this. Obviously, it's going to be very there's going to be a lot of banding there on your screen because of YouTube. But this is a beautiful fog pass. It's very heavy, this, because it's 32-bit float. This is a beautiful fog pass that Sajeel made. So thank you so much for that, for creating that pass. While we're waiting for that to cache, don't forget, if you do have questions, just feel free to ask them using the super chat. The super chat is the little money icon just below the say something, and then I know for sure that the question is there. Otherwise, I might lose the questions because you guys are going so fast here on the stream, on the live chat. I might miss some questions, but I'll try my best to answer everyone. I'll try my best. Okay, so this is a fog pass that was created by Sajeel, which will really help the shot. It's a beautiful pass, as you can see here. So, I mean, Sajeel can answer a bit more of how that was done, but it is a beautiful pass here that I always like to have volumetrics, even if they are not as realistic as they would be. But I like to have volumetrics on a shot because it just gives that extra 10% that looks beautiful, you know. We also have, of course, the normals pass, which will allow you to do some relighting with the position pass. We also have the position pass and the position raw, which in this situation is not necessary because we have deep. And then we have two extra passes. We have the anti-aliased Z-depth and the non-anti-aliased Z-depth. So this is the raw Z-depth that we're using here, which is really bright. So this is the raw Z-depth, which is the one that we drive the depth of field, which we are going to go through today. And then we have also like this, which is the anti-aliased depth pass. The anti-aliased depth pass is really useful to do color correction, and I requested this extra for Sajeel as well, so that we could have a way of doing some tweaking of atmospherics with the, you know, with the actual image that we had. Because if you just use the depth pass, the edges are rugged because of the depth pass, because depth passes are always non-anti-aliased. Otherwise, remember, what's white is in one like what's white is near to camera and what's black is far away from camera. So if you had anti-aliasation on the Z-depth pass, then the edge pixels would not know where they are in space. You would have some pixels, the darker ones on the edge. You see that you would have problems like this. If you go all the way to the edge here, you see the Z-depth pass would think that pixel is far away from the camera and this pixel is close to camera, and that's really not realistic. That's not how depth works. So that's why you need to have the raw depth pass for depth of field, and then you need to have the anti-aliased one if you want to kind of tweak things. I like to have this extra pass. Is always better. So, cool. Look at that. We have so much people watching. I can't believe I can't believe there's so many people watching. This is unbelievable. Thank you so much for this support, guys. I love it. I love it. And also it helps so much my channel, you know, so much. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so now we've done that, and obviously we have two more here, which is the Cryptomat, which is this, you know, which you know already. We're going to use the Cryptomatte node for that. I'm not by the way, just so everyone knows, I am not running Nuke 13. I'm running Nuke 12. Sorry, I just need to like open this up. Reason I'm running Nuke 12.2 V5, just as a reference if you need to know what Nuke I'm using, that's the Nuke version I'm running. Reason I'm mentioning this is because I can't run Nuke 14 yet because my pipeline is not supporting the new Python version. So that's why I'm not running Nuke 13. And I never jump into a new version of Nuke right away. I always wait a bit, so that's why. So I think that's one Cryptomatte, which is the Cryptomatte material, and then we have also the Cryptomatte mesh, which is this one, which would allow you to do some color correction. So that's all the passes out of the way, and then I wanted to show you kind of like the deep render as well, which looks exactly the same, minus these kind of fireflies that we have here, which we'll talk. This is already kind of like, I already started comping a bit because I wanted to kind of advance a bit for you guys to not have to wait for every single thing. Also wanted to show you what I'm doing with the ActionVFX stock footage. I'm going to open, by the way, this menu here, this is my own pipeline, okay? So don't disregard this menu. It's my own pipeline, my own internal pipeline. So if I go in here, I'm going to open up a pre-comp. And this is my pre-comp for the particle system that I'm going to create with these people, you know. So let me just, oh, I see Lee Watson is here. Nice to see you, Lee. How you doing, man? Congratulations on the position at Framestore. Much, I mean, it's an amazing achievement and so well deserved. You're such an amazing artist, so thank you so much. Like, it's amazing that you did that. Congratulations, man. Really congratulations. So, oh, sorry, I forgot to not close that. I don't want to close that, so let's just do a pre-comp here. Not close the other one. I'm going to open up the other one on the background. Now, get ready, because this is going to be slow. The particle system in Nuke is not the fastest thing in the world. So I just wanted to show you this real quick. We're going to get back to this, but this is my playground. And this is some of the footage that I'm using from ActionVFX. As you know, ActionVFX just released a new piece of stock footage, which is really cool, which is like a crowd that you can use on any project, really. I'm going to just swap this around to grading. So we have a bunch of them here. So this is kind of like the type of footage you have. I've already pre-selected the angles. Like they sell it with multiple angles, which is really cool. So if you go in here to this website, you can see that they're selling it on multiple angles, so they're already pre-keyed as well, and you have multiple types, you know, like you can use it on a particle system like I am using here, like they've done as well. They have a tutorial on that as well. So let me just go back here. So I have a bunch of people here that I've already pre-selected, doing like clapping and, you know, just saying hello and everything. I'll go through this in a minute, but this is basically just a particle system with a card, and the result would be something like this. You know, we basically have a bench of people just like with motion blur as well, and they'd just be like clapping and, you know, saying that they love it. There's a few glitches that I still need to tweak, but we'll go through this in a minute so that I can show you how I kind of did it. This stock footage is not free, no. This is a purchase. You need to buy it at ActionVFX. So this is one part that I've been playing around with. I love this guy. I need to like show you guys. I love this guy. This guy is having so much fun here. Look at that. He's like, oh my God. He's like dancing. It's great. Obviously, I'm not using enough people for the amount of people that I need to put on the stadium. So I've done 3 parts of it. I've done a lower, an upper, and a bottom. And if you look at here, I'll show you what I mean. So basically I have this here. I have this here, the bottom one. So I have the top row, I have the bottom row, and then I have the edge row as well. So these are the ones that I've done so far. I haven't done all of them. And then if I combine them all, they kind of like, you know, stay inside there. And the result really would be something like this. This is just a pre-comp, of course. Now, we're going to talk about this in a second, and this is one of the advantages of using deep compositing. That's the whole point of this tutorial, really, to kind of show you how cool it is to use deep compositing, because it just allows you to put things behind other objects really easily without you having to really do a lot of layers and a lot of weird stuff, you know. Again, there's a bunch of... Does ActionVFX have a student discount? I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know. I guess maybe ask them, maybe email them. I think they're on the chat as well. So, yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see that. ActionVFX is actually here. So, hi, whoever it is at ActionVFX. I guess it's, I don't know, maybe it's, I don't think it's Luke, but maybe it's Luke, or maybe it's James. I don't know. But hi, you guys. So, this is really why I want to show you this. So obviously I haven't filled up all the seats as well, because I kind of want to like, you know, this is a work in progress. We just finished rendering it. You can ask Sajeel, we just rendered it. Like he's been working around the clock on this thing, around the clock. So yeah, obviously there's no light interaction, no shadows. We'll talk about that in a second. But as you can see, they are all behind the grids and behind everything without me really having any layering system or any depth or any fancy stuff. I'm just putting them behind those race car tracks and everything, which is pretty cool. So we'll discuss that in a second. I'm just like introducing you to the shot. So don't forget, guys, to go to the giveaway. Okay, don't forget, we're gonna do the giveaway. Oh, it's Luke. Okay, hi Luke. So Luke is here, and don't forget that we have two giveaways. We have a giveaway. One is for $750 of store credit on ActionVFX. Thank you so much, ActionVFX, for being so kind to do that. And the other one is Hugo's Desk is giving away one license of the Nuke course that I have for sale on Patreon, which is 150 hour, like 70 hours long. So it's a big beast. Big beast. Yeah, I know. 400 people watching. Look at that. And I have 2 dislikes. Thank you so much for the 2 people that didn't like this stream so far. Much appreciated. Feel free not to sign up to the giveaway. So, just so you know. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second. Again, I have so much stuff to talk about today that it's going to be a bit tricky to keep in mind. And obviously, I want to make sure everyone understands that we're not going to finish this comp today, okay? There is just no way this is done in 2 hours. No way, okay? So we are going to do it a bit. And obviously, like I said, I will continue this shot on my Nuke course. And I will, once in a while, do a little few streams on it as well. But if you really want to like do this entire course, you just need to like wait for me to have that thing done. I haven't done that tutorial yet. I've recorded 5 hours so far, but I haven't really recorded the 12 hours that it will take. But before we advance and start doing some stuff, I just wanted to show you kind of how I work. You don't need to do this way, but I tend to render EXRs with have multipass EXR inside of them. I prefer that way because I have a very fast cache system. I have like a really quick cache drive to cache all of this stuff. So just so you know. And so I tend to bring everything through the stream. So I basically start with all these passes and then I kind of copy in everything else. So in here I'm doing a copy all, and then I'm doing a copy all here as well. So that means I have all the cryptomats inside the EXR. And then from there on, I also add and copy all everything else here basically from the fog pass to the position in normals. The reason why I have these shuffles is because I'm here shuffling my fog into a fog pass and my Z raw into a Z depth, you know, so that I have like a more organized thing. I hope you guys can read the text. I've made it pretty big. I hope you can read it. For the first time, I'm using Nuke with a really big font. Which is really ugly. It's so ugly, but can you guys read it? I'll put it a bit bigger. I'll just make it like that. I know it's a bit awkward because it will start cropping stuff, but can you read the text? I hope you can. We are like 20 seconds behind, but hopefully you can read the text and we're all good. Cool. The giveaway links, I've been giving them on the, so if you just scroll to the chat, the giveaway links are all there. Okay, don't forget to sign up. All fine? Okay, cool. So in here I'm just basically shuffling my fog into a fog pass so that because remember this fog isn't on the RGB. Then also I have like basically, the font is like, I can't make the font so big because it's breaking. I think the maximum I can go is 18, otherwise it's going to start breaking everything. And then I have, of course, the Z anti-aliased as the depth anti, the anti-depth, I guess. And then I remove the RGB. The reason I remove the RGB is because the RGB is already there, and then if I copy all of it, then it disappears. So after this copy, I have all of the passes. Then I start comping this thing. So here's how you comp the AOVs, and these are AOVs for Arnold. We have, I usually try to be as organized as possible. You know this from my streams. I have my light passes on this side, diffuser direct. I'm writing here direct so that if you know Arnold, you kind of like have an idea of what this is. And then I have my GI or indirects, and then I have my reflections and speculars all together, and then my refractions and my translucencies here, my emissions as well. So let's start from the beginning, and this is how I'll break it up, you know, so that I can control it. So I start with my beauty, as you can see here. I then shuffle out my diffuse. When I shuffle, by the way, in all these shuffles, I am shuffling the pass itself into the RGB. But then I also pick up the alpha channel into that so that I can actually unpremult and premult just for the rules of premultiplication when I'm doing some kind of color correction. So don't forget that. So that's why I have that there. So in a way, you know that this is not premulted. So because if you zoom into the edge there, you see that it's premulted already. So I do an unpremultiply. The reason I do an unpremultiply is because I want to extend all these pixels. That way, you know, when I do color correction, it doesn't really destroy anything. You know, I just wanted to like make sure I protect my edges as best as I can, so that I don't have any problems there. So that's the direct diffuse there, and then I have the raw diffuse. This is obviously, if I gamma up here, you can kind of see that it's already unpremultiplied. So that's why I'm not unpremulting this one. You know, and don't worry, together with the footage, I will give you my script, whatever script we end up with today, you'll get the script as well. It won't be the final version of the shot, of course, but at least it will serve as a guideline for you to kind of like understand how it works, you know. So that's the way. So this is, of course, unpremultiplied already. Now, when you have a diffuse light, which is this, just with color, and then you have a raw light, the only thing you need to do, there are only two operations that you need to know for CG. You either do a plus or you do a multiply, so there's nothing else, okay? So I just want to make sure, don't believe anyone else that tells you that you can use a screen or something. Mathematically, obviously you can use a screen if you want to use something creative, but mathematically it has to be a screen or a plus. Otherwise, you're gonna basically have problems on your comp. Okay, I just wanted to yeah. I like that, Sean. Free quality tutorial automatically deserves thumbs down. Yes, I have 3 thumbs down now. I know why, Sean. I know why, because everyone like I am annoying. I know that. I am very annoying. Okay, so we have merged with the multiply, and that gives you kind of this. You basically get the version of the light. Now, I left the version of the light here as well, just so I can compare it. So this is shuffling just the diffuse lighting, and this is my comp. It's almost matching. If you go all the way up here, there's a few differences that have to do with basically the unpremultiplication. That is it. You know, everything else matches. It matches perfectly. So now we've multiplied that. And then in here, which is the GI, I have again the diffuse filter, which is my raw color. I have my GI raw, which is the global illumination or indirect raw. I multiply them together. Again, the diffuse filter needs to be unpremultiplied. The GI raw, it tends to be the raw passes don't need to be unpremultiplied. So then you multiply them together. And of course, this should match up with the GI, which does, except the edges as well. And here we have the reflection filter. Reflection filter, by the way, if you look at the raw reflection, this is every material on your scene would have 100% reflection, you know. So this is what this is. It's basically 100% reflection. So imagine every material you have, from chrome to metal, for anything here, would be reflective in some way or another. And so that's 100%, you know. Thank you so much, your Grave 4715, for the £5 super chat. Thank you so much for that, man. Again, every single pound goes to the support of this channel, so thank you so much for that. I do have a daytime job, which pays for at least my life, but every money I support on this channel always go into the channel so I can do more videos and more streams, so thank you so much for doing that. And is saying, your Grave 4715, thank you so much for that, says, waiting to buy your course with my birthday money on June 11. Okay, cool. I hope it's still available there. Greetings, and a huge fan from Belgium. Yes, it will be available, don't worry. The course will be available for at least another 6 months. After that, we are going to launch some extra classes, some extra workshops, which would be one of these, would be this shot you're watching now. And that course will be different, like it will be an extra course on top of the one we have now. So don't worry, the course is not going to go anywhere. It will be there for sale, don't worry, you know. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about the car, ask Sajeel. He's here on the chat. He's the one that did the car. He's the one that did the entire CG. Hey, I have no credit here. I did shithole. I didn't do anything. I just directed the shot and told Sajeel, like, the lighting, the angle, the lens. I only said that. He did the whole thing. He did all the amazing work, you know. I'm just doing the comp. I'm just coming at the end and taking all the glory. Okay, so the reason I want to show you this is reflection raw is, of course, every single reflective object, but then the reflection filter is literally the values of that reflection. Okay, think about this, for example, imagine the reflection that exists here on this panel. By looking at the value here, you see it's very gray. That means that we're not using a lot of reflection. So this is like a map of how much reflectiveness exists on your shader. So that means the car, for example, is almost 100% reflective. The bridge is not 100% reflective, but then the glass is less reflective. So the shades of black and white allow you to know how much reflectivity the shader has. And that's why when you multiply this shader filter by the raw reflection, then you get, you know, you had all the reflections, now we have less. See, notice here on the car, on the raw, we have all the reflection. And then when we multiply it, the car becomes more reflective. And that's because we have this thing, this filter that is here to help you. Obviously, this should match. The raw and the reflection should match. Then we have, of course, the specular lighting. We don't have any raws for that. That's just the specular lighting. I had to pre-multiply it. This is literally just like anything that is like specular, direct, reflective surfaces. We then have the refractions, which is anything. This would be the same thing. This is the full reflective material, refracted material of anything that is semi-transparent. So we have windows. And then we have, of course, the window of the car and the headlamps. And that, together with this filter, which is the same thing as the reflectness, it gives you this, which is the amount of refraction we have on the scene. Then last but not least, we have the translucency, which is the tint on the bottom there. We then have the mask for that. We need to multiply it. And then we have the GI of that. We need to multiply it. And then we, of course, plus them together to get the translucency of that tint. And then we have the emission, which is just global, like basically self-illuminated materials. Anything that is emitting light would do that, you know. So that now should match. Like if I now go through this thing, we started with the diffuse, then we merged the GI, then we merged the reflections with a plus. This is speculars and reflections. Then we merged the specular lighting. Then I'm going to just remove the gamma, sorry. By the way, this project is, so you know, running on ICO ACES 1.1. That's how Sajeel rendered it in Redshift. It's ACES 1.1, just as a reference. Everything is on ACES here. And my viewer is on Rexon 09 because my current monitor here, like this monitor here, which is the SW321C, it's fully hardware calibrated to Rexon 09, okay, just so you know. And then on this side, I have my chat room, but obviously I don't usually use the chat room when I'm working. I usually don't have a chat room. Just gonna swap the input here if I show you what it is. Give me a second. Sorry guys, a bit of a garbage truck on fire here for you. Just need to like tweak a few things here. Just give me a second. There you go. So now you can see it. Okay. Gonna go back to my stream. Okay. So as you can see here, we are, you see there, like basically I have the Rec. 9 middle monitor, which is the SW321C, which is Rec. 9 calibrated. And that's why my viewer LUT is Rec. 9 on Nuke in ACES, because that is the delivery I'm trying to do. And then on this side here, this is outputted by the Blackmagic card. This is also fully calibrated to Rec. 9. This is a video output with some scopes. I also have some scopes down here as well to help me with the color correction. Obviously on this monitor, I usually have a video signal of the output of video. So the way I work is I usually have on middle Nuke with Rec. 9. Then I have a Rec. 9 or like a Nuke on the middle. If I'm delivering video, it's Rec. 9. If I'm delivering cinema, it's P3. On this side, I have a video signal that is outputting either P3, Rec. 9, or Rec. 2020, depending on what I'm delivering. And then on this side here, this is a really crappy, very cheap broadcast monitor, just so I can see how does it look when it's a really cheap monitor. This is a Blackmagic Smart 4K View, which has no controls. It's like an iPhone, really. And that allows me to give me an idea of how it looks on, like, random TVs, you know. So that I have a calibrated one and a random one. This is a 6-bit quality screen. This is a 10-bit quality screen. And this is an 8-bit plus FCR quality screen. So this one supports 10-bit, that one supports 10-bit, that one supports 8-bit, just so you guys know. And I'm going to shut up now. I'll put my truck on fire again and just swap my input again. Sorry, I just wanted to kind of show you that. There you go. So now we are back on business. There you go. So that was just like a little rundown of how that works. Thank you so much, Daniel Klein, for the becoming a member. Thank you so much for that. Now, from now on, you have some special emojis, and also you will be on the credits of my videos as well. So thank you so much for that support. And also I had as well Osama Ali also, which also became a member on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for that, Osama. So the next video, you will also be part of my credits on the end of the videos. And then of course you have now have access to more emojis as well. You guys back? Am I? Oh yeah, I put the wrong thing. Sorry. There you go. Look, I have my garbage truck on fire for a while there, didn't I? So I think that is it. Did you see the... Damn, did I fail that? Did you actually end up watching my full monitor? Did I show that? Just give me that curiosity. Because I'm not sure if I showed you the full... Did I show you this? My setup? Can anyone tell me if I did show that setup? Because I have a feeling that by mistake I put just the garbage truck, didn't I? Or did I actually show... Did I show my setup, my monitors and everything? Did I did that? We're so behind on the chat here. Thank you so much, Shubham, for the becoming a member. It was okay? You saw it? Okay, cool. We saw it. Okay, we see all the... Okay. I thought it was just the garbage truck on fire. Yes, Sajeel, I'm offline on Discord. I don't have Discord open, no. I can turn it on the break, don't worry. I can do that. You saw it. Okay, cool. That's good. Sorry about that. Sometimes I get a bit lost on myself here. So, okay, let's get back to it before we do a break, because we've been on for almost an hour. So, in here, as I said, I'm doing Rec. 9 for the output. Now, so if you look at this, the direct diffuse was looking like that. Then we added the GI. Then we added the reflections. Then we added the speculars. Then we added the refractions. Then we added the translucency. Then we added the emission. Now, why did I went with all of this work of separating things? The reason I did that was because now I have total control over, like, for example, if I want to do, let's say, for example, I want to do a glow here to glow these kind of like things, you know, I now can do that. And obviously this is just me experimenting, but I can now glow the neons if I wanted to, for example, you know, if I wanted to make them a bit more bright. Also, if I wanted to, I can also go into my light here and tweak my light. So for example, if I go to my lights here, I could now pinpoint glows on these lights only, or basically make the light a bit more crunched if I wanted to, or tweak anything that would be maybe, you know, maybe overexposed. So that's why we're separating all of this there. So just so you know, so that we can the things that I'm probably going to end up doing on this shot is going to be tweaking the light so that I have some glows on the light and I have like a more direct light. I'm probably going to pump up the reflections a bit. I liked to pump up glints and glows on the reflection, so I'll be using the reflections passes to kind of like drive the glints through it. Then I have, of course, the in here on the emission where I can drive through glows as well. Now, obviously, at the end here, I put back my alpha channel because at the moment this is all not pre-multiplied. So I'm going to bring it back here and then do my color corrections, my secondary color corrections, and then, of course, finally tweak that edge there. The reason why I do that is because I always want to color correct without affecting the edges, you know, so it's actually unpre-multiplied before. This is not doing anything yet. I'm just showing you how I usually work. I usually have a primary color correction, which allows me to overhaul color corrections. This would be doing color correction to the whole entire thing. And then after that, I have a secondary color correction, which would be driving it through, for example, you know, object IDs, cryptomats, or anything that would be a secondary color correction there as well. So, you know, so that's why I do that. And then, of course, I always have an area where I put flare, glares, and glints. And then I have some volumes, which is me putting the fogs in. You know, I have either the fog pass or the Z fog, which gets plus together. And that kind of gives me a lot of things that make the shot look nice. Obviously, still need to be tweaked because I would prefer very much to have less light on the shot and more fog on the pass as well. Now, this fog would be merged as a plus operation there as well. And then at the end, I would have more stuff like the depth of field, which we're going to talk in a minute. And of course, I have the PGBokeh. The depth of field node is a bit tricky because it's going to give me a lot of problems with edges, but the PGBokeh one would allow me to use deep information to actually fix some of those problems. I'm also going to have to put some fake motion blur because it's missing that. And then at the end here, I have basically lens distortion. So one thing that I wanted, basically this was filmed on a 50mm lens, so I have some distortion here to apply to the shot, so just to give it a more realistic view. And then at the beginning is a 200mm. I don't have a 200mm, so I only found a 100mm lens distortion node here, so I need to fix that. I need to bring it over. And then, of course, some grain at the end. So this is kind of the comp that we have at the moment. You know, it's very early on, but if I look at the original here, which is this, and that's my new version, so this is kind of like already kind of looking better. So we already have a fog pass and we have the lens distortion as well. We haven't put in any depth of field also, and we haven't put the people in as well. So that's how it works. Anyway, I'm just yapping and yapping and yapping as usual. I'm going to do a little break. As you all know, when I do streams on Twitch, I always do breaks. This is very important for you to always do a break. You want to make sure you stretch your legs. You want to make sure you drink some water. You want to make sure you kind of like rest your eyes for a bit. So we're going to do a 5-minute break and then come back. While I'm on the break, don't forget to sign up to the giveaway. So don't forget that we're going to do a giveaway from ActionVFX. That's like $750 of free store credit for ActionVFX. And then I'm also going to give away one free copy of my Nuke course. That's the 70-hour long Nuke course that I have. So that's kind of like up and coming soon. So don't forget to stick around for that. In the meantime, let's do a break, stretch your legs, get some water, and I'll see you in about 5 minutes, okay? Okay, I'm back. Hope you've stretched your legs. I hope you've done all of that. Let's get back into it. So, as I was saying, again, also thank you so much to Adam Hamed for becoming a member. Thank you so much. Your name will be on the next credits and you have access to some emojis. Also, thank you so much to Andrea Bielfior. Thank you so much for becoming a member as well on Hugo's Desk. So much appreciated, all this extra support. Thank you so much for that. So let's now get back to it. So a couple of things that I wanted to kind of talk about now. So let's start with the depth compositing of this. And that's why I did this stream. That's why I wanted to do this stream. And that's why I've rendered this shot for everyone to kind of see. So this entire thing was done on one single layer. And normally, when you do this kind of shots, you tend to separate stuff. You know, like normally on a more old-fashioned pipeline, you probably would have separated the car from the bridge, and then of course the you know, like the fences, and then you might have the you know, the people behind it. Because the problem though, of course, now would be this: like if I now bring in the renders that I've made. So you see, remember I made all these four renders, which was the particle system we made. You know, if I wanted to now comp them on top, it would be quite tricky, right? So because now I would have to do this, you know, like there's really no way of doing it. Like I have these people here, which are sitting there. You know, I could try to merge them together like that. You know, that would be like A over B, you know, like basically merge them together. And then, you know, obviously they're now on top. So now I would have to figure out, okay, how do I get everything in front of them? So I probably would have thought, okay, either I have to render the car and render everything separately, or I would have to kind of like combine multiple cryptomats. For example, I could have done this, you know, like could have cryptomat like the car together with the grill and everything, and that would have worked. Now, the advantage of having it in deep compositing is because in deep compositing, you always have them in 3D system anyway. And that's why I wanted to kind of show you this. So if I go in here, I have already prepared this. So this is the deep version of the render. Now, when you render something in CG, if you want deep, remember that you still have to render the regular render. So I've rendered a version, so I'm just gonna show you that this way. So if I pick this one up and I put it side by side here with the deep, so you see, whenever you render something, and you can ask Sajeel about that, you always render one version, which is the beauty, which has all your AOVs, and that's like the full quality version. And then you have a deep version of the render. Now, they look the same. Obviously, for some reason, there's like some discrepancy between specular highlights. I don't know really why. We never really found out why, but it doesn't really matter because none of the deep is actually going to be used in the comp. We're only going to use it as a support layer, but keep in mind that you always have to render both, okay? And the deep needs to be rendered in 32-bit float. And obviously the deep also, the reason why we need to render the other one is because the deep version never has any AOVs. We do have a deep pass, which is nothing more than a yellow image, but it is there, you know, like there are information here. So if I hover the mouse, you can kind of see that we have 9,000, 10,000, 5,000, 7,000, 6,000, like there's a bunch of values there that are, you know, like there for you to know the distance to object and to camera. So the way that this works is that you will require three things. You'll require to have a camera, and this is the camera that I've asked Sajeel to output from Maya. So this is my actual camera, fully animated. It's a baked camera. And it has also the lens change, so because it's a zoom lens. So we start with a 200mm and then we open up to a 50mm, okay? So this is very important. The camera needs to match, and it has to be a perfect match to this thing. And then the other thing we need as well is the deep render, which we talked about already, and it has to be in 32-bit float. And then the other thing we need is, of course, is the beauty. Now, the way this works is you get the beauty, you get the deep information, and you pipe it into a node called the deep 2 points. Now, the deep 2 points node can be found here on the deep menu. And if you go in here to the deep menu, you have a bunch of nodes that are specific just for deep information, okay? So, and I can tell you one thing already, kind of like, once you go deep, you never go back. Like, I just want to let you all know that, because like now that I know how to use deep, like I don't want anything else, because it's so much better than rendering in regular compositing. So that's why I wanted to let you know. So we pipe in the deep render into the deep 2 points, and then the camera into the deep 2 points, and then on the scene, you'll get something like this. It takes a bit of time to load. You'll get this weird thing. This is what we call, you probably remember this from the position passes. The position passes could do stuff like this as well. And if I go through different frames, you know, you'll see that this is actually moving. So this is basically a point cloud simulation of the entire thing. And so if I, for example, go a few more frames, you see even the car is here. And this is incredibly useful. Why? Because now I know everything. So this scale matches Maya. So if I would have opened up the geometry in Maya, this would have matched perfectly 1-to-1. And this basically gives me all the information I need to know, where the seats are, where the different things are. Like now I can see the grass from Sajeel here. Look at that. He has some nice grass. We know the distance of the car to the actual end, you know, the railings. Then we know the distance from the railings into the second railing. And we also have a person there. I've set a person there already, just so as to have a reference. And now you kind of know where they are. Keep in mind that he's always looking at camera, so that's why he looks weird when he's on this angle, you know. And also this gives you the information of where things are. For example, if imagine you wanted to put like some flares on these lights, then you knew where they were, and then you can position some lights and drive them through the flare system, for example, of optical flares. That would have worked really well, you know. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Somesh Ghosh for becoming a member of Hugo's Desk. Thank you so much for that. And your name will now be on the credits of the next video and on my next video. And now you have access to some emojis, some special emojis. Just look for them on the chat room there. And so don't forget, guys, if you have questions for me more to the end of the stream, make sure you use the super chat to actually be prioritized for the questions. If you don't use the super chat, I'll just answer some of the questions. So now that I have this, now I know how to position the people, and also I have the actual 3D volume. And so now if you look at this thing, you know, what can you do with this? Well, you can actually do a lot of things. Let me give you an example. So there's something called a deep sample, which if you look at the node here, if you look at the deep sample basically allows you to have this little dot, and then you basically can sample an area. Now, for example, imagine that I sampled the car with this little dot. You see the values I have here, 3,500 and 557. That is the distance of the car to the camera. Okay, so these are the values in deep for the CG. So, for example, if I go all the way to the back to the Fox RenderFarm here, for example, you can kind of see that that's 8,000 away from the car. And if you go back to, this is the sampler for you to kind of do things with deep. If I go back now to my scene here, that is exactly correct. Like if you look at the scaling here, we have a 10,000 grid here. And so you can kind of think, okay, it's about 8,000 from the camera to the bench there. So that is kind of correct, because you can kind of see that it's 10,000 from here to there, 8,000 to this. So this entire thing is on scale, just so you know. So the deep sample allows you to sample stuff so that you can actually color correct in deep, and you can also color correct with crops as well. If you want to, for example, crop things. Remember I was telling you that I wanted to put the car in front of the people and the benches as well. So using the deep crop, I could do that, you know. So I already pre-made this, but let me just put this to default. So if I look at this deep crop, which is really, really useful, I know that, for example, the car, if I sample it, I know the car is about 3,500, okay? So if I go in here to my deep crop, I just need to tell them, okay, my near would be where the car is. So let's say that the car is at 3,500, for example. And my far, let's say that we want to crop all the way to the railings. So the railings are on 5,100. So 5100, you know, would be the distance of my back crop as well. So let's now do 5200, for example. It's not exact values at the moment, you know. So what's happening on the chat here? You guys are kind of like, that's dirty, Hugo. What is that? What did I say that was dirty? I didn't say anything dirty. Okay. I don't know what you guys talking about. Anyway, I hadn't had the chance to kind of look at the chat for a while, so haven't really checked. Anyway, let's get back to it. So now that we've established where the crop is, I can now look through the crop image and see what happens. So as you can see now, we've cropped some of it, but notice how it's cropped as well in 2D. That's because all the deep crop does is that it also has like a 2D cropper, and the 2D cropper allows you to pinpoint certain objects. For example, imagine that you wanted to have just the car. You see here, I can now like crop with my values and have the entire car, for example. So let's say that now we have 3200, and on the back there we could have less of the car. So now I'm gonna just like open up this entire thing just to see where we are, so you can see it. You see what's happening there. That's the back crop. And so now I can kind of get rid of everything, including the bridge. But obviously, you see, when I start getting rid of the bridge, I get rid of the car as well. And that's where this crop box is really handy, because the 2D crop box allows me to, for example, crop the bottom area. And now I can pinpoint and just have the car, you know. So now let's say that we have that. So now we have just the cars. So now if I merge, well, I need to kind of make sure I have the cars in the front as well. So I need to like have more of it as well, because the cars are closer to camera. So that now should give me just the cars. Yeah, I still need to crop a bit more on this area here. So let's get here. I should have sampled the car. So let's say now that, well, I'm going to put 0 in the front because we need the front. So now this is, and I'm going to crop a bit less here. So let's see here. So we have the car, the street, and then first car passes by, second car passes by, and then the third car. Where's the third car? Yeah, so that should be enough. So you see, the deep crop would now allow me to have an anti-aliased version of just those layers. So this is effectively one way of doing a render layer, you know. So instead of going to Maya, set up a render layer, and then basically like go back into here and kind of like try to comp that layer, effectively by having deep information, you can create your own layers. That would be kind of one of the advantages of this thing. So, I mean, let me just wait for this to cache so that I can show you the whole thing. So it's a bit heavy though, by the way. It is a bit heavy. You probably notice as well that the car has a lot of problems with the specular highlights. That we can also fix because we can move the deep information to another layer if we wanted to, for example. So these are just the cars now. So these are, it's like a render layer done in Maya, but instead of done in Maya, it's done inside of Nuke. And so now I could put this on top of the people, for example, if I wanted to. And now for me to fix this, the fireflies, it's really simple. I just need to basically convert my deep information as a mask and then use that as a mask. So for example, here, you know, you see that let me just delete this for a second here. So yeah, so you see, the deep to mask is the node, because obviously when you have a normal node, you see you can't plug it into the deep information. It's almost like the 3D system where you can't really connect the 3D system into things, you know. The Nuke's 2D nodes don't really get along with the 3D deep nodes. They are a completely different beast. They're a completely different world, you know. So for this, you need to use a deep to image, which will basically convert your deep image to 2D images. So now from this moment on, this is not a deep image anymore. Now this is a 2D image. And then basically I have an alpha channel there. And as you can see, the alpha channel is fully anti-aliased. And that's the advantage of having deep, is because you can't, like, you could have done these crops using like ZDEP passes or something, but then the edges get all broken, you know. So that's the way it works. So Deep image converts it to image. Then, of course, I have a shuffle here to just make my alpha channel. I don't need a shuffle. I mean, I'm just showing you. I don't even need that. But, and then I have a copy. So this is the regular render without the fireflies on the speculars. You see, we used to have them in here, and now we have no fireflies anymore. I then can copy this alpha channel, which I created, into my 2D layer and then pre-molt. And that now is the version with no fireflies of the render, just using basically an alpha channel from the deep, you know. Obviously, you still have the edges because this has been motion blurred. So you still have some edge problems. But as you can see, this is very, very cool because it allows you to make your own masks here in your own alpha channels and your own layering system if you need to. Anyway, this is one thing that you can do with the deep information inside of Nuke on a comp like this. Now, if you want to, you can also use this type of information to do color correction on a specific area, because the color corrector deep also can use the same kind of settings. So I'll show you what I mean. So if I now put a deep color corrector here, for example, if I put a deep color corrector here, and I pipe it into here, you know, so this is the entire scene now. Let's say that we want to color correct just an area, for example. Let's say that we want to color correct this area here on these benches, for example, you know, for some reason. So we would just sample the benches. So let's say that we want to color correct maybe this row of benches, you know, like we want to kind of like maybe color correct this area, maybe do a spot here or something like that. So this is 7,911. So I'm going to go into my deep color corrector here, for example. I'm going to do the masking input. And as you can see here, we have A, B, C, and D. Those are basically the fall-offs, you know. So we have, you need to press limited Z, by the way. So B is the first moment where the color correction will be affecting the image. C is the last moment where the color correction will be affected. So this is almost like the crop box, the inner crop and the outer crop node. And then the A is the fallout to that color correction, and the D is the fall off of the color correction. Okay? So I'm going to say that I want 7,916 for that chair, and then let's say that we color correct all the way to here, which is 8,000. So that's 8,001.05, for example. So now if I do, I'm going to test this with the deep crop as well, just to see if I'm pinpointing the correct place, you know. So I'm going to just do a quick test here with the same values that I was using. So this is 7,000, not sorry about that. I did 700. It's supposed to be 7,000, not 700. So it's 7,024. I don't need to be so precise in terms of the values, really. You know, we can do precision, but in a minute. So let's say that now we do 7,924 by 8,000, for example. So that now should give me this. So you see it's cropping just this area here. Obviously, it's not anti-aliased where it's not anti-aliased. That's the issue here. So obviously, you can't sample things that are not like that. So let's just find an area that we want. Let's say that we want to color correct. Because you see, when I cut on an area that is actually with anti-aliasation, then it will work fine. But in here, I'm just cutting through this area here. So you need to be careful when you crop it, what exact area you want to crop it. And of course, the disadvantage of this thing is that it's always on Z space. So you see, I can't really rotate this. The only thing I can really do is to pinpoint something in the Z space, you know. So that's the thing. That's one of the disadvantages of this. So for example, if I wanted to like just color correct the bridge, for example, you know, let's say we just want to color correct the bridge only, and we go and kind of like wrap up just the bridge. You see, it doesn't really work just for this. I would have to use the crop box to try to crop just the bridge area. And now once I do that, let's say that now I say, okay, 3,024 here by 5,900. And so that would be the effective of my color correction. So now if I go back to my color corrector in Deep, see, which I've pinpointed there. See, if I start, for example, putting gain here, sorry, it's the inverted. I need to like invert this, so I need to just like invert my mask. Just give me a second. So I'm gonna invert. Why? Oh, wait a minute. Wait. You see, it's affecting everything that is between those two images, because that's the range. Obviously, I haven't done a fallout yet, so I would have to also tell him, okay, let's say that we start on, let's say, 2,000 maybe? No, that's too much. Like maybe 2,500, and then finish maybe on 6,500 or something like that. And that would allow me to have a fallout that would be, where is it? A fallout that would be like closer to that color correction, which is just on the bridge and not just on the front area here that I'm color correcting. Don't forget that there's no crop box on the color corrector, so I can only really color correct the area that I'm telling him. But you can see that I'm now color correcting in Z space. I'm not color correcting in in just 2D, because this is now effectively almost like a depth pass that I'm using as a mask. The cool thing about this is that it's fully anti-aliased, so there's like all the edges are perfect. They don't really have any issues. That is why it's so cool to use. I hope you guys are all kind of following me along. I hope so. Is everyone following me? Is everyone with me? I hope so. Like, I know that this is a lot to take in, and don't, like, keep in mind that to comp a shot like this, it takes hours and hours and hours, and that's why I was saying that we are probably going to continue comping this shot on the streams on Twitch, and we're going to continue comping this shot and use this shot on some videos. So keep that in mind, that there's a lot more than just this, you know. But I hope you guys are all good. I hope everyone is understanding me, and I hope you are all kind of. Okay, I see. Some people said kind of. That's not good. That's not good. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna move on because I want to show you so many things that I need to kind of like move on. I wanted to show you now. Remember when we talked about the method of this, which was a problem because we couldn't really bring it into Nuke? So the way that this works is that you just have to make sure you render this crowd simulation, which was a particle system done inside of Nuke. You just need to make sure you render this crowd simulation using DEEP as well. So these are, for example, like a crowd simulation that I used with all the ActionVFX footage that they provided, basically from the crowd simulations that they now have. I forgot to open my Diet Coke. Look at that. Completely forgot about it. I left it on the corner there. Here it is, the great moment of the Diet Coke. Cheers, everyone. I can't believe I forgot my Diet Coke. It was just like getting warm on the side there. So you see, this looks like a 2D image, but it's not just a 2D image. There's actually deep information. There's also depth information as well. And there's motion vectors information as well for motion blur. And of course, there is also deep information as well. So if I go in here, there is deep. It's invisible right now, but it is there, I can assure you. So the way that this works for you to kind of, and this would be the solution to comp them in like that, you know. So if I now go in here, and I'll show you exactly how that works. This is the other script, remember, the one with the particle systems. So the way that this worked was that I have them set as a particle system. I'll go through, I'm going to activate the particles. Be aware that this is really heavy, so it's going to take a while for it to show up, you know. It is a Pepsi Coke, yes. It is a Diet Coke, yes. It's a Pepsi Max, Lee. Pepsi Max, all the way. Look at that. Beautiful thing. So this time I got it. I got the right ones. You need the product placement. I love it. No, it's not sponsored by Diet Coke. No, Diet Pepsi. Sorry, Diet Pepsi. Okay, so my emitter here is a really simple emitter, by the way. I'm basically emitting. I'll show you. Be aware that this is going to take a while because it's really heavy. So I'm gonna have it to the viewer so that you can see what I'm talking about. It's a really simple emitter, so that we can kind of have the thing. There you go. It's now starting to populate all of it. It's just gonna take a few seconds for it to populate. They're always facing camera, by the way, so that's why they look weird when you do this. So this particle system here is basically on frame. I'm basically starting my roll at 1000, which is one frame before the beginning of the scene. And then if you go into that frame, 1000, which is there's nothing there, I tell Nuke that I want exactly 120 people, you know, so because I know I've counted the seats. Actually, I didn't show you that. Because for me to position the people there, I could use the position pass, but it's even easier for you to use some geometry. So I asked Sajeel to make like a really low poly version of the stand, and which he did. And that is also opening. It's a bit slow. Always a bit slow when you're running so many particles. So as you can see here, this is all the stand that you can have with all the people. Just wait for the particles to kind of like load up. Yes, that's the moment the computer explodes. Oh, hi, Paul. I can see Paul Dako is here. Hi, Paul. How you doing, man? Nice to see you on the stream, man. There's a lot of people that I know on the stream, but so sorry that I haven't really said hello to everyone. I do apologize. Still have 300 and something people watching, which is amazing. Thank you so much for that. So we'll do the giveaway in a second. I know you're all waiting just for the giveaway. You can't stand me anymore, and you just want the giveaway. So you see, this is kind of like me knowing exactly how, like, so I've counted these seats. There's 120 of them on this, so that's why my particle emission rate is doing 120 particles. So that basically what I do is I start the emission on frame 1000, which is one frame before, start the emission, wrap it up, like basically I start on 999. So if I go to frame 999, that's where I start my keyframing. So I start with emission of 120 people, so that would be 120 particles. You then have a keyframe at 1000 as well, which is also to 120. So I'm telling Nuke, okay, create 120 particles and then stop. And then on frame 1001, which is the first frame of the sequence, it stopped because emission rate is 0 now. So that means it only created these 120 particles, which are people, not really particles. And then they're not particles, they're people. Come on, Hugo. These are people. And then, of course, the rest of the settings are pretty self-explanatory. So I'm doing emitting from points. Reason I'm emitting from points is I'll show you. So I'm going to just disable the geometry here. I have, let's see here. I have a card here. This is the card that is emitting the particles, okay? So I've positioned this card in front of the stadium, and the card alone looks like that. And the card has 29 rows by 3, because I want 4 rows of people, and I want 29 people across. Let's see if my math is correct. Hope it is. So if I do 29 over 3, that would be 87, but it's 4 rows because the top, it's from points. So we have, look at the card here, we have 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows with the points by 28. So that means that if I open up the calculator here, let's open up the calculator. So if I do 28 times 4 rows, that's 112. Actually, I did a mistake there. I guess I probably, by mistake, but it doesn't really matter because 120 to 112 is not that much difference. But if you want it to be very exact, it would have to be 100 and, no, wait a minute, because the row on the front is also 1. So it's actually... yeah, that's right. That's right. So no, this is correct. So because it's basically 30 because we have rows on the sides. Never mind, it is correct. It's 120. So so this card is driving the emission, and then basically every person is being emitted on the corner of the card. So basically you have, like you see here, we have 1 person on that corner, 1 on that corner, and these are lined up with the seats, you know. So I've lined up the card with the seats. And then basically VFX, I have to answer this question. VFX Buddy is asking, has Nuke ever crashed on your PC? No, VFX Buddy. Nuke has never crashed on the PC, on my PC, because I don't run a PC. I'm joking. So as you can see, I'm running a Mac Pro. So I have a Mac Pro 2019. I have 28 cores, 288 gigs of RAM, and 2 graphic cards with 16 gigs of VRAM. So no, it has never crashed on my PC because I don't have a PC. I'm just making a joke. So, but it does crash a lot. Of course it does. Like every software in the world. They have names. Yes, they do. Like every software in the world crashes. I mean, there's just... I don't think I've ever used a software that doesn't crash. Come on. Come on, guys. Okay. By the way, whoever wants to watch this stream again, the stream will be available on YouTube once I label it, you know, because I want to put chapters on it. So, you know, it probably will be available tomorrow for you to watch if you want to rewatch it. But I will put chapters, okay? So you'll see the chapters on the timeline. You also will see the chapters on the description of the video. Just wanted you all know that because I know it's hard to kind of scroll through the video. So I'll put chapters so that you can go directly to topics like this one, like particle system, deep crop, deep color corrector. I'll just do all of that so that you kind of you know, know where everything is. So yeah. Yeah, it's the Mac Greater. Yes, it's the Mac Pro 2019. Monster. It's a monster. Okay, so not sure why that's white. I have no idea what happened there. It doesn't matter. It's probably just a glitch. So as I said, they're being done from emission from the card. So as you can see, emit from points. Obviously, if I wanted, I could emit from edges. Oh, shit, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, yeah, there you go. That emits from edges, or I could emit from faces if I wanted to as well. That also works. Or I could have emit by a bounding box. I'm doing by points. And I am doing them by order, so basically in order, so I want them all to follow the order and with no randomization. So if I wanted to, I could have put like randomly, and then they would just like pop in, you know, if I put randomly. It takes a bit of time to see. Now they're randomized, but I'm not randomized. I'm basically putting in order, and there's no random direction. So as I said, the emission rate is 0 by the first frame, and then max life basically is 1096. That's the length of the shot. And then the size is 270. That's just like the scaling of them to match the seats, you know. And then nothing else, really. The input is in order at order so that you play back the video inside of it. And so that would be it for the particle system. Now, you also have to prep the particle system. So I have all the videos individually here. So let's, so we have here, for example, this girl here that is like clapping. For example, she's sitting down. So as you can see here, we have a crop. I've cropped her so that she would not be full 4K because she's like 4K, as you can see here. So I've done a crop with a reformat node. So I basically cropped where she was. And then I hit the reformat tab here so that we would have only an 800 by 1300, which is also very big. And then from there, I've mirrored so that she would match up with the seat. And I've also reformatted her by half because I don't need 800 pixels by 1300. This render is only 2.5K. This render is 2560 by 1440. So, you know, that's the project settings of my project. It's 2560 by 1440. So I basically just cropped and scaled by half. So now they're roughly at 400 by 600. Now, you need to be careful. You need to make sure that they are all roughly on the same size. Obviously, some of them will be bigger, some of them will be smaller, and that's okay because I don't mind that some people are higher, some people are bigger. You just have to make sure they're roughly on the same size. Otherwise, this is not going to work, okay? And then I have a frame range just to make sure, because obviously all these videos start at 1. I'm changing the frame start at 1001. And then I have like frame range of 1001 to 1096, you know, for this to work. and then they just get populated into the particle inputs, and you can have as many particle inputs as you want. I have separated them because I wanted like different people to be sitting in different places. So I have different, like for example, these ones up here, these are just like standing people. Imagine like it's like the cheap seats, you know, like on the top you have the cheap seats, and then on the bottom you have the expensive seats. So that's kind of how I broken it up here, you know. So yeah, so that's the particle system. Now, for you to make sure the particle system is outputting deep, you know, deep information, because that's going to be very necessary, you just need to kind of go into the scanline render and make sure there's a couple of things here. So on the shader, I'm outputting vectors so that I can do motion blur if I want to. I'm also outputting, if I want to, I can output point and normals. On deep, I leave it to default, and this is all to default. Now, for it to be in deep when you render it, you need to make sure you do a few things. First of all, you need to make sure you render it on all channels, so the deep also gets rendered. And then you need to make sure this is in 32-bit float, otherwise the deep information won't be accurate. You know, it has to be in 32-bit float. And then also in here on the interview, by default it's channel layers and views, which is the EXR 1.0. 1.1, I think. But as you can see here, if you hover the mouse, you have EXR 1.0, which is channel layers and views, and channel and layers is multipass EXR. I prefer to do channels and layers because that way it only caches the frame that you're viewing, and that becomes much faster to render. So, and then of course color space should be sitting linear like the ACES pipeline. So don't forget to do all of these things. If you've corrected, render them all. And by the way, each of these particle system is taking, I think, 20 minutes to render or something like that. Because I do have motion blur on the multi-sample here as well. So if I go back to Nuke here as well, you can kind of see that they already have deep information. So, and I know that by doing this. So if I go in here, let's say, I haven't done all of them, but I have a pre-comp here. So you see, let me just double check if this is all working. So it should all be working. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm gonna do this from scratch so I can teach you how this works. Okay, so for this to work, I need the deep. You see how much comp we've done? We haven't really comped anything because we're just on the first 4 hours, you know. So, okay, so we have the middle people here. We have the center. So we have, no, this is the pre-comp, sorry. We have the center crowd, which I think we only have version 5, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, version 5, which I've done yesterday. Then we have the left crowd. Then we have the upper crowd, the cheap seats. These are the cheap seats. We have the other sitting seats on the side here, and then we have the middle seats. I haven't done the rest, you know, like I haven't done all of them. I think we would need like 7 layers for this to work. The reason why they're separated as well is because I kind of have to like do the light pass as well. Otherwise, this is not going to work, you know. So now, obviously, if I merge this, nothing will happen, right? Because I can't even merge deep with no deep, you know. So even if I put a deep merge here, you see, I can't merge this footage with that footage. It doesn't work because that's the render, the full render, which I'm going to go to. I'm just going to go to a frame where we have a car, for example, here, like the car here. So the car is in front of the people as well. I want to make sure we have a car in front. So as you can see here, this is deep, this is not deep, but for this to happen, we would have to actually have the deep information from the EXR itself. So in this case, we would have the deep information on it, but I would have to create it by converting this to a deep image, you know. Let's just double check here, all of them here. So they all have a deep pass. Yeah, so let's start with the center crowd, which is the expensive seats. I'm going to go into the deep pass here. And I'm going to do, okay, a deep to, like, basically the other way around, sorry. Where is it? Yeah, deep from image. So I'm going to do deep from image. And this will now convert my image to a deep pass. So now I would have deep information for this. And as you can see here, if you hover the mouse here, do you see the values of them? Like 6,000, 7,000, 6,000, 7,000. That's the seats, you know, that's where they were, which is roughly where the seats were. You know, that's why this works so well. So I had to like pick up this EXR, which I know has deep information, because anything that you render with the scanline render has deep information, okay? So once yeah, they're really crisp. I haven't really comped them yet. I need to kind of tweak them and motion blur them and do a light pass and all those things, because we are, this is not a 12-hour stream, okay? We can't do all of that. We're trying to do our best with the like 2 hours we have, which are already kind of running out anyway. So let's see here. Once we have that deep from image, we now can merge it. So if I now merge it, I'm merging the beauty of the deep with the people that are sitting there, and then I use deep merge. And as you can see, doesn't matter if I merge on A or B, it's pointless, because there's no such thing as foreground and background on deep. They're just merged there. You see, they are exactly where they should be. They're behind the fences. They're behind the bridge. They're behind everywhere. I need to tweak the particles. You can see this guy is a bit not sitting correctly there, and there's also some edge problems. But I think that's the keying issues that I found. There's a lot of keying issues happening on these guys, but I need to tweak them. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're not really going to go that granular on this tutorial. But as you can see here, this is just magical. It's already there. So now I could just basically, you know, go in here and merge the other two. So again, it would be the same thing. I would basically merge this guy and then merge this guy here. And then I can just use more combines. So B to A. I'll keep that in mind so that it's less confusing. And then B to A, and then now I have merged all of them. So now they're all merged in deep. Obviously, still a lot of things to do. We still need to do a light pass for them, because there should be like lights passing through the headlamps. You know, basically the headlamps of the cars should affect them, and they should also have shadows as well, which all of that can be done in the 3D system of Nuke. I can use the geometry, I can use the lights, I can use all of those things to kind of drive shadows and lights in here, you know. So that's kind of how this works. But as you can see, they're placed in the correct place. Now, this didn't need to be like footage. It could be anything. It could be other renders. It could be from other passes, and that it could also be particles or, you know, fog passes, anything else. That's one of the advantages, you know. So the guy that is sitting wrong is that, for example, solved in Roto. No, I would just move that particle up. I can still do that. I have motion blur on the crowd, by the way. I don't have motion blur on the scene yet. So disregard that. I still don't have motion blur on both things. I would have to add motion blur to the CG scene for it to match. But as you can see, they're all here, as they should, behind everything. Now, obviously, this is not really going to work because you can't comp this with all the AOVs, right? I still need to comp this with all the AOVs. So effectively, what you want to do is to merge them using what we called an old out mat. So I'm going to just open up this a bit more so you have a bit more space. And let's see here. I'm going to like just add these guys down here. And I'm just going to like do an old out mat. So options that you have on the deep merge is that you have an old out mat. And I really recommend you, next time you do a render in 3D, try to do it in deep, because it just helps so much, you know. So this is a combine. If I open up this merge, you see that there's only two options. I can either do combine plus or hold out. I'm going to do a hold out. If I do a hold out, you see that I basically develop an alpha channel with a holdout, which is what I want. And now I'm going to just do the same here. This would be a holdout as well. Now, be careful with this, because you need to kind of make sure you can't merge them on top of each other, you see. So this needs to be merged properly. So it can't be merged like that. So you kind of have to merge in a different way, you know. We have to use this to do the holdout mats. So it's almost like this. I would have to like do this one here to do two holdout mats. And then here on the holdout mats, it is important that you put A to what you want to cut and B what is supposed to be cut. So don't forget that. And so you would have to kind of work in a different way for this layering system to work. Let's, for example, do it like this. So now I think I might just put it here so that I have all of them here. I know it's like not the most pretty, but it doesn't really matter. So that way we have a holdout matte of these guys, which has the anti-aliased alpha of them. Then I have a holdout of these guys, and then I have an holdout matte. Sorry, I need to put this in. Holdout matte of these guys, which has to be the reverse. So like I said, has to be A input is coming from the mask, B input is coming from the render we have. And now I can use deep merge nodes here to merge them together. So if you want to, of course. So if I do deep merge here, and I can merge, okay, so now it's a matter of you, it doesn't really matter which one you merge first, that doesn't really matter, as we have already established. So let's say that we do this now, and then we merge this one here with that one. And now that should give me all of the seats particle system. So if I had all 7 of them, it would be like that. So now this is all of them being rendered with an alpha channel that corresponds and sits like a glove on the render that we're going to make. Obviously, all the color corrections would have to happen before all these merges that we would do. So this is now being cut by the deep information, okay? I see there's a lot of questions going on here. I'll promise I'll do some questions at the end, okay? Once we do the giveaway, I'll do some questions at the end, you know. Because we're already running the court, like we're already doing 2-hour stream. It was supposed, I should tell you one thing. When we first planned to do this stream with ActionVFX, it was supposed to be a 1-hour stream, you know, and we're already been on for almost 2 hours, so... I'm sure, I hope ActionVFX is not upset with me because it was supposed to be shorter. But I do apologize. I just talk and talk and talk and talk. I talk a lot. Sorry about that. Anyway, so this is now all here. As you can see, it's going to play back in a second. So obviously, I could combine all of them first. I could just do one. That is absolutely true. You know, Mac Pack Raft. I'm just like talking and talking, and obviously, you have never done a stream at the same time that you comp. Most likely, you never remember to do the correct stuff. So obviously, you're absolutely right. You know, what I should do is this. You know, I'll do exactly what you mean. This is the fast. Whoa. What happened? Oh, look at that. Nuke crashed. First crash of the day, my friends. First crash of the day. So Nuke didn't like that. I'm going to open up Nuke again. You see, he didn't like your opinion. Oh, my God. It just like, I just like hard crashed complete, like, boom, it became red. Oh, my God. That was sick. Like, Jesus. Okay, good thing is that it has an autosave. Let's just do that. That was insane. It just like did a hard crash just in front of me. Okay, we're back in business. So like you were suggesting on the stream, I am going to do that. So I'm going to basically do this because obviously you guys need to remember I'm doing this live. I had no preparation. So I'm basically just doing it, you know, by like doing it, you know, no real preparation. I haven't really tried this first, you know. So obviously keep in mind that I haven't tested anything. So in reality, just like, what was his name? Just like Mr. Packraft mentioned, you know, it would be best for you to do this. You could combine all of them first. And so you would have basically... Sorry, this is wrong. Oh, it's going to crash again. Oh, look at that. Crashed again. I know it's because I know why it crashed. That's my fault. So, as I said, you know, it's very difficult to do everything perfect while you're doing a stream, you know. It is like incredibly difficult to be focused during the stream, reading the chat, checking if my bandwidth is correct. You guys don't even know what anything that is happening on this side. I have like my bandwidth, you know, like I need to check if the bandwidth is correct, if it doesn't have any drops, and see how many people is watching the video. I then have also like at the same time I have to keep an eye to the OBS because the OBS is of course streaming. need to check if this is green, just to check if it's actually a solid stream or not, if it's working. I then also have to look at the chat just to check if the chat is going on well as well. And then at the same time, I have like a live view here just to double check if everything is working or not as well. And at the same time, I also have a Discord channel here with questions from Sajeel as well. I have my notes as well on the other side at the same time that I'm comping this thing. Okay, so if I have done a mistake, I can guarantee you that I've done many mistakes, I'm sure, and because I have my mind on 10 different things. And so obviously I'm not going to make the best decisions possible if this was a tutorial, because this is a live comp doing all this stuff at the same time. Okay, so the reason, so that's why I mentioned that sometimes we don't do the correct decisions, and the correct decisions here was wrong. So I don't need deep to image here, because these can be, you know, I need to kind of convert them all combined. So like you suggested, we need to deep image here, and then basically combine both. But you see, Nuke is crashing for some reason. That I don't know why. You see, it crashes when I do that. So I'm not going to be able to do what you said, Mr. Pack. Can't do what you said because it's not working. For some reason, it's crashing. Don't really have time to understand why it's crashing. So I'm going to do it the other way around, like I was doing. So keep that in mind, that the correct way of doing this would be merging first all the layers, you know. So basically in here, we would merge all of them first. And then we would do the holdouts mats as well at one single go, you know. So I would basically use the holdout mats as one. You know, I would just do one holdout mat. So that's what I was trying to do. But unfortunately, for some reason, this is not letting me do that. So I'm not going to waste any more time. So we're just going to holdout mat as it should here. So we'll just do one by one, but I'm not really sure why it's giving me a problem. That I don't know. And I don't have time to really like tweak it now. So I'll just do it like I was doing it. I lost also that thing there. So, hey, this is what compositing is all about, right? It's the garbage truck on fire that usually happens when we're doing things. So you see that truck? That's my composite right now. that is what happens when you comp live. That's the kind of like what happens, you know. That is the way. That is the way. A rich man can still crash. A rich man? I'm not rich. What are you talking about? Not rich at all. Have you ever met a rich man in VFX? I am not rich at all. Like, I have equipment. Because this is my office. This is what I work. This is my office of work, you know, where I comp and I do everything. So I think people have a lot of misconceptions of what I am. Okay, let's go back to this thing here. So I am doing an holdout mat here with all of them. So basically I have that one, and this one. And now I'll save, because in case this crashes for some reason. And now I'm going to combine them all, you know. So I'll combine this one with that one. So that should work. And then I'm going to combine the last one. For some reason it didn't work, so I'll just do that. And that's working now. So now that's working. So I'm going to just like do a backdrop here. And put people. So this would be people. So another way of doing this, by the way, is for you to render it as a deep render. So I could have rendered the deep render of these fellas, which I haven't done. So I'm going to comp them, and I'm going to comp them just before the volumes. Probably, yeah, just after the pre-mode. So I'm going to open up this thing here and have some space for them. And I'm going to comp them here. So they'll be comped right after this pre-mode. So this is just the render. And then now I'm going to have a merge node here, and I'm going to merge them here like so. So obviously this is a deep information still. So I now need to convert this to 2D. So I need to like now do, you know, a deep to image. So this would convert everything to 2D, and which allows me to now merge it as a 2D layer on top. If you want to do color correction individually, you could have done with color correctors here, color correctors there. You know, obviously don't forget to unpremolt and premolt and all those things. So all these color correctors would have to be unpromoted and pre-molted. So if you wanted to color correct all these people, you would have to do it before they go into deep, and then they go out of deep, and you can color correct again after you leave deep, you know. So now that should now work. I should now have all the people merged there perfectly, and as you can see, they are now merged perfectly. So that's kind of the rundown of how you would do it here. So I have a 2D version of all my AOVs, gets merged, and then I have basically, you know, a deep composite render from the particle systems inside of Nuke that then I use a holdout matte with the real deep to cut them so that I can merge them on the top just like a regular composite would do. Okay? So that's kind of... Oh man, I'm sorry guys. Look at that. My garbage truck on fire really went on fire, didn't it? Sorry. I see. You guys are all telling me, but I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Don't worry. I'll do it again because we were here. So as I was saying, you know, we're all back now. This is how I've comped it. So I have the people that go into the deep to image, then they get holdout matte by the deep. And I am getting older, yes. I'm forgetful, you know. Someone asked on the chat how old I was. I'm 42. I'm going to be 43. So don't forget. And I am older. So garbage bag has been there for 3 hours. It is working now, right? Like you guys see it, right? Yeah, you guys can see it now, I'm assuming. Yeah, cool. So as I was saying, I am using a holdout matte here. Of course, obviously, like I said, you could render this with deep, with actual deep. And then what I would do is, right after the pre-mold here, before my fogs and before my flares and before my depth of field and before all of that, I would then merge them together. So obviously, you can't merge with a merge node here. You can't just like merge deep information into the 2D. So you would have to convert it to somehow be usable in 2D, you know. So now I would go in here and I would go into my deep and I would say, okay, I want now deep to images, and this is now converting everything to 2D, and now I can merge it on top of my composite with an over, because obviously when I look at this, you know, with the deep to image that I have here, this is now an RGB with an alpha channel, you see, which is correct. It's exactly what I want. And then I merge it on top and they would fit in correctly. Now, obviously there's still a lot to do. You know, I still need to put more people, and then I also need to like color correct with the lights, with the lamps, you know, because they need to be affected by the light as well. And obviously they need to cast shadows as well, which I haven't done that yet. So this needs to also be done. And obviously if you needed to color correct them, don't forget to need to color correct them before they go into the deep to image. And this color corrector would have to be set, you know, to unpremote by its alpha before you do the color correction. So you can color correct all the individual parts of it by using grade nodes like this. And then you can basically do another color correction here if you want to, do a generic color correction. But it cannot be inside the deep information. And then you kind of merge it together, you know, like that, like so. So that's kind of how you would comp. And then, of course, you would comp everything else still on top. So now the volumes would be on top, the grain would be on top, the motion blur would be on top, the depth of field would be on top as well. All of those things would be on top. So I like people saying you're too older, someone on the chat here saying that I am older than their father. Oh, my God. That just makes me depressed now. I just want to go home now. That's horrible. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for saying that you think I'm 35. Thank you so much. Yeah, people are very there's like a lot of thing with old people. They don't like old people. Anyway, so we are already kind of running out of time on this stream because I can't be here forever today, but I wanted to show you, like, I haven't really showed everything I wanted. Obviously, we haven't comped the shot. The shot needs a lot of comping. This, by the way, this is a shot that probably would take like 2 weeks or a week. Probably is like a week of comping here. But before I go, I wanted to show you, I had my notes here, and I haven't really went through everything, you know. Didn't manage to go through the fake lights. Obviously, I can just show you really quickly what my plan would be for the lights. I have a setup here that was, you know, this is really rough setup, but I want to show you anyway because it's kind of like cool. So I need to show you that. I'm gonna just disable the particles because whenever you have the particle system, just switch them off, okay? Because it's so heavy that you don't want to keep them on, otherwise it's gonna take forever to load. So this was Sajeel was kind enough to give me the positions of the lights on the car. So as you can see here, I have the actual full animation of the lamps of the car. So these are basically all the lamps of the car. They are actually locators. So if I play this back, you can see that I actually have the lights passing through the system, affecting whatever would be in geometry. So I still need to set that up. I need to set up a way of the lights affecting the particles so that we can kind of like light them up. I've been having some issues with that, by the way. So the particles are not being completely affected by light. I need to check why that's happening. I think maybe it could be a bug, or I might need to try Nuke 13 for that. And also, obviously, I need to use this to drive some shadows. This is taking too long to preview, but if I do it this way, you'll see it faster. So I'm going to just show you this. So you see, this would be my light pass. This is, of course, the shadow without any kind of anti-aliasing or anything, but these are just the lamps passing through the benches. And of course, this would have to be done with the ray tracer, not with the scanline tracer, because the ray tracer would give you better quality for the actual materials of the lights and everything. So that's would be what I would do. And you would have to kind of like, if I go in here, for example, I'm going to switch all the lights because we have too many lights. I'm going to just have one light here. So let's just see here. If I put this light as point, spot, I'm going to put linear fallout, and then I'm going to just, it's going to be quite far away, so for it to be visible, I need to kind of pump up the light, otherwise it will never kind of even be visible. Let's just put a 10 of cone, so that it's kind of like, sorry, just kind of like, I had this before, and I'm not sure why it's not done. Wait a minute, which, oh yeah, it wasn't this one, it's this one here. That's the one that I was doing. And let's see here, point, spot, I think it's a bit later. Intensity, yeah, we don't see it. Yeah, there you go. Now you start seeing it. I just need to kind of get the cone smaller as well. I'm gonna just go berserk here so you can kind of see it. So this would drive the lights, and it would make shadows as well. So because this would all move with the lights and create shadows. But maybe a next time. We're gonna not gonna really do this now. But it would be driven by the lights position of each car, you know, because then I could do like a shadow pass, and I could also do a light pass for the particles as well. You feel sleepy. Sorry about that. That it's getting so boring for you that you're feeling sleepy. So last thing that I want to show before we do the giveaway and before we go, and also don't forget that the giveaway is also online, so I'm going to put it on the list. I'm going to put the giveaway again on the chat. So we have two giveaways today. We have a giveaway which is so kind enough, ActionVFX is giving away $750 of store credit to buy ActionVFX stuff. And then I also have a giveaway where I give away one license of my Nuke course. This is the Nuke course, which is 150 classes. It's 75 hours long. So yeah, so keep that. So we'll do the two giveaways in a minute. And then we will, once I finish just showing you the setup of the depth of field, and then we will just answer some questions after a break. It's just a couple of questions. So let's go back into the depth of field, because I wanted to really show you this real quick. So the cool thing about the depth of field running it with DEEP is this, because obviously the ZD focus node would work, but it would have a lot of issues. Okay, so I'm going to show you here this thing with the issues that we would have with this. So look at how I have this image here, and then I have, of course, the depth of field and then the ZD focus node. So if I open up the ZD focus node, and let's just open up. Obviously, I'm exaggerating the depth of field here. I'm gonna just kind of go into the car. So let's say that we want to focus on this car, not really focus because he's defocused anyway. It doesn't really matter. Let's focus on the first one. So it would be this one here. So let's say we're going to focus on him. So if we look at the depth of field here, it's all set to be focusing there on the car and on this bridge. And as you can see, that's the focal point done. And now if I go to my result, you can kind of see that it works. You know, it's a bit, obviously it's a bit fake because it's like a miniature at the moment. But if you look closely, you have all sorts of problems with the edges there. You see how this thing is completely broken. Okay, so it's a bit like you know, this would never work with the ZD focus because there's so much transparency happening here with the grids that are in front of the actual car and between the benches, and you would have all sorts of edge issues here. Look at these highlights here. Obviously these would have to be fixed either using cryptomats or, you know, there's all sorts of vignetting issues. There's all sorts of edge problems. Look at the broken edge here. This is all entirely broken. And this is broken because obviously the regular ZD focus node doesn't really know what's behind objects. So it doesn't know what's behind this object, so it can't really do a fallout with the depth of field. So normally when we do production shots like this, we tend to have to cut layers apart. So that would be how we would have to solve this. Now, let me show you what would happen with the PGBokeh. The PGBokeh has an input for the deep information. So that means that I now have the control, if I now open up the PGBokeh, which is set, by the way, to the 50 mil that we were using, with an f-stop of 1.2. It's much slower, of course, because it's not GPU accelerated, but I'm going to just show you where I am. So I am going to try to focus on the car like we did on the other one. So I'm going to just like focus on the car here. So trying to get focusing on the car. Range would be maybe 100, so we have a bit of the car a bit more open. So let me just yeah, so that would be, oh sorry, this is set to f-stop of 1.2, so I can't really do that. So I'm gonna just like put an f-stop of maybe 4, so we have a bigger range. So this would be a similar depth of field. So if I go in here to this ZD focus, and if I look at the focal plane setup, you see I'm focusing on the car and a bit on this bridge. And if I go into my PGBokeh, I'm focusing on the car, although the bridge is not there. But if I go into my PGBokeh and maybe put an F8, you'll see that the bridge starts to be there. So an F8, which is much more, you know, like this need to happen because this is, of course, not working anymore. So this means that I would have the car in focus as well. So now if I go in here to the defocused image, obviously it's an F8, so you can't really tell how much defocus it is. In here, I'm going to exaggerate the values just to show you. So I'm going to defocus 10 to 10 on this one here, 10 to 20, and I'm going to put the result here. So that's how much defocusing I'm doing here. Just give it a second. It's a bit slow. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's the ZD focus, and this is the PGBokeh. Obviously, PGBokeh is set to f8, so it's not that defocus. So I'm going to go with a more exaggerated depth of field so we can kind of see the results. So this is 1.2 f-stop on a very quite wide lens, quite far away. It's much slower, the PGBokeh, of course, but it's so much more correct in terms of depth of field. It's going to give you such a closer relationship with the values of depth of field, especially because it's using deep information. I need to lower this because it's too much so that we have a bit of a match, you know, between the two. You need to just give it a second because PGBokeh is the slowest node ever, I think. We're just waiting for the depth of field to show up. We still have 300 people watching. Can't believe it. Thank you so much for still being here. And we have 5 dislikes so far. So 5 people hated this. Thank you so much for all of them. Okay, so this is... Yeah, the matte should be far depth instead of 0. It should, yes. But I'm not gonna do this now. I'm not gonna really put it accurately. Even if I do that, even if I set it to far depth, it's still gonna break. You know, even if I put it on depth, it's still gonna break the edges, because there's no way that the ZD focus node knows what's behind this fence. That's the thing. The fence is the biggest issue. But if I look at the depth of field that is being created by the actual PGBokeh, because I have all the information of deep, which means I know what pixels are behind each pixel, I now don't have these problems with the edges, because it basically makes the depth of field correct, because it knows what the pixels behind do and not do. Anyway, this is really a big like a very simplified thing, you know, in here. You know, so I'm just showing you like a really quick version of this. But you know, like I guess, you know, the advantages of deep compositing, even with, you see, even if I still have edge broken, and especially in here, let me just show you real quick here. So if I put 10, because you guys are saying that this wasn't on, I'll put it in here so you can see it. Result, focus plane, and I want to have my focus plane, and I want to have less depth of field there, so I want to just do that much probably. So let's do this, and result, and do the depth of field. So you see, all my fences are still broken, and then I still have a bunch of artifacts happening on the edges there. You see the broken artifacts? All of these are artifacts coming, especially these little highlights that come up and these pops that come out. They come out, especially on this side here. We have a huge pop glow here coming through. These artifacts happen because the depth of field doesn't know what's behind objects. Now, as opposed to when you use deep information, it actually has the information of what's behind, and so it will give you a more accurate depth of field. Just wanted to kind of like try to explain that. But it's, you know, we already been running for 2 hours. I'm already very tired. I think we're gonna be done now with compositing. We've done a long stretch. This was supposed to just be 1 hour. And you know, so thank you so much for sticking around for this. But I think now I'm going to, it's not an expensive plugin, it's only $200. I think it's really cheap actually for the things that you can do. By the way, I'm not sponsored by them, so I'm not saying that you should buy it at all. Like I just saying that it gives you better results and it has a correlation with f-stop. I do use the ZD focus node sometimes for some simple stuff, but if I want to do more physically accurate things, then I use the PGBokeh, if I want to actually put in you know, depth of field information and everything. So let's wrap up the stream with some questions, and I hope this was good for all of you. I've really had a lot of fun, and let's basically wrap up the stream with some giveaways. So don't forget about the giveaways. Let's do them now, so that we can kind of like wrap up with some questions. So don't forget, let's start with the giveaway of ActionVFX. So let's say here, so that's the giveaway. Don't forget to sign up to the giveaway. You need to just sign up, and then you'll be able to be entitled to 750 pounds of store credit. So I really would like to thank ActionVFX for doing this giveaway. It's really, really appreciated. So let's try to do this giveaway and see what happens. So are you guys all ready? Has everyone signed up and everyone kind of like done that? Let's do this now. Let's do the giveaway. So let's go into, let's see here. So I'm going to open up the I'll start with the ActionVFX giveaway. Okay. So ActionVFX giveaway, we're still running it. So let's now find out who's the winner. Okay, so we have one person to win this. So are you guys all ready? Are you all ready to do this? So I'm going to say that I'm going to roll the dice here to give me the winner for this lucky draw. I'm not showing my screen, obviously, because I don't want I want to respect the privacy of the person, so I'm not showing them their email, you know. So, but yeah, let's do this. So, guys, you have the link. Make sure you sign up. I'm gonna do the giveaway of the ActionVFX $750 right now. So, okay, so let's do that. There's 2 giveaways. Don't forget, there's another giveaway with the Hugo's Desk course, which I go through a lot more things than what we saw today. And don't worry about the shot. You know, I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it on the streams on Twitch. I want to have a lot of fun with this shot because this shot is such a nice experimentation for you to test things, you know. So let's do the giveaway here. And then we're going to do some questions, okay? Don't forget, if you want to ask a question, just make sure to put it on the post. I already have a few of them here, but I'll go through them in a second if they are still here, okay? Okay, so Neko was only waiting for the giveaway. He was only here because of the giveaway. Thank you, Neko. Okay, so I'm going to do the link. I'm going to draw the winner for the ActionVFX. I'll start with that. So draw winner, see who it is. One winner. Let's see here. We have one winner. Yeah. It's drawing now. Let's see who wins. Almost done. Okay, so the winner is Nemo Cortex. I think that's your name. So winner of the ActionVFX, winner of $750 of Action VFX store credit is... Okay, cool. So I hope you're still here. I hope so. So that's the winner. Okay, cool. Is he still here? Are you still here, Nemo? I hope you are. I'll say this, like, if you're not here, I'm gonna roll the dice again. So, are you here, Nemo? If you're not online, I will roll the dice again. You need to be here. Can you tell me if you're here? Is he here? I can't see him on the chat. Are you on the chat? Man, don't tell me you left. If you've left, Nemo, I'm probably gonna just roll this again. Oh, man. Doesn't seem so. It doesn't seem like you're here. Okay. You put the dislike and you just left. I should have said it on the beginning, but I think people know whenever I do these streams, people have to be here. Otherwise, they won't get the Finding Nemo, yes. I've said this many times on all my streams. This is my third stream on YouTube. And I always say this, like, if you're not on this chat and if you're not here, you won't get the giveaway. I should have said it on the very beginning, but I think we're going to do it again. Because if you're not here, yeah, he's left. You left, Nemo. So okay, so cool. So then I'm going to do, it's only for viewers. Yeah, giveaway is only for viewers. I could give him an email, but I prefer for people to be here. If people don't have the patience to even stay here to do the giveaway, I'm not going to email them. No, they need to be here. Otherwise, they're not going to get the giveaway. It happens on Twitch all the time as well. So I'll do it again. I'm going to do the giveaway again. Okay. I'm just saying this because, as I said, I think, you know, the least you can do is to be on the stream. You know, so it's just a bit of respect. If you are like, you know, well, don't forget that we have 600 entries because people come in and come out and come in and come out and come in and come out to the stream. So far, I've had I had about 700 people coming into the stream. It's just that they come in, they stay a few minutes, and then they go. So that's how this works. So I'm going to do this thing again, okay? So let's see here. How do I do it again? Let me just just a second. I need to kind of like go to... Sorry. I need to do... Okay, so... Okay, cool. So I'm going to revoke the win. And yes, I am revoking the win. And I'm going to do it again, okay? Okay, so I'm going to do the winning again, okay? So here it goes. Winner, let's see who it is. Just so you know, we have 149 people for the draw. So, okay, so that's Dan has, I hope he's here. So otherwise it's going to be like, winner is, okay, so I hope he is here. Dan has, so that's the winner. Is he here? I hope he is. It's always a problem with the, we always have so many problems with the giveaways, man. We always have so many problems with the giveaways. Is he here? At least is he here now? It's me. Oh, okay, yes, I see you there. Okay, cool. Daniel, you just won $750 on store credit for ActionVFX. So congratulations, Dan. So don't forget to maybe email me. So just message me on social media privately, or just message me on social media privately. And Daniel, just congratulations for the $750 dollars of store credit on ActionVFX. And of course, let me thank ActionVFX for doing that. So thank you so much, ActionVFX. So yeah, Daniel is here. Cool. So let's now do the second giveaway before we do some questions. So the second giveaway, don't forget, is going to be a license of my Nuke course. Okay, my Nuke course is 150 classes, and it's about 75 hours long. So let's do that one now and see how this goes. Obviously, if one of my students gets picked, I'm going to have to do it again because my students are already doing it. So let's do the giveaway of Hugo's Desk's course. Let's do that. Okay, so let's do the giveaway. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to run the giveaway to see who is the winner for the giveaway of my course. So I'm gonna draw the winner. Let's do that now. So drawing the winner now to see who wins my Nuke course. Okay, so I have a Ken Kalvik. So let's see here. Ken Kalvik, winner of the Nuke course is, see if he's here. So that would be, is he here? Is Ken here? If he's not here, I'll do it again. Ken, are you here? Ken Kalvik. Ken is not here. How do you know that Ken is not here? How do you know that Ken is not here? How do you all know that? That's weird. Why would you? How do you know that he's not here? Is Ken here? Come on, guys. I'm here. Oh, yeah, Ken is here. Okay, congratulations, Ken. Ken, let me ask you this. Do you want to have this course? Are you interested on getting this course? Or do you not so much care? Maybe you already know Nuke. Maybe, you know. Thank you so much, Neko-chan, for the super chat. Thank you so much. That hurt me, Hugo. Why? Why do you say that it hurt me? That hurt me, Hugo. Your tutorials, these constructions, and better at Nuke, and even being trying to watch all your videos on YouTube. I'm just so excited for the giveaway. Oh, thank you so much, Neko. Thank you so much, Neko-chan, for the donation. Thank you so much. All the donations go to the support of the channel, so thank you so much for that. Okay, cool. Are you interested on getting, Ken, are you interested on having the Nuke course? I don't know if you've done the Nuke course already. Maybe you don't care. Do you still want the course? You're interested? Okay, cool. So Ken, just message me privately, and then we can I can give you a free copy of my Nuke course, which costs £500. So cool. I have a surprise for you guys before we go. We're gonna do some questions now, a real quick session of questions. But I'm gonna give another course just so everyone be happy here. So I'm gonna do another roll of the dice, okay? So one last Nuke course that I'm gonna be giving away for free. This is a Nuke course with 150 classes, And don't forget that you can still join if you want to. Don't join now because you might win it. Don't join now. But you just need to go to Patreon and you need to just, it's only £500. You know, I'm going to do one more giveaway. I'm going to give one more course as a surprise, you know. So don't forget, this is my Nuke course. It's 150 classes, 75 hours long. It's only $500, £500, not per month. Never mind this. But I'm gonna give it away again. Okay, just gonna give one more just so we wrap up this stream nicely, and you guys are all happy because I can see a lot of people that are sad here. So, and Sarvesh Desai, thank you so much for the donation. He says, "Thank you so much, Hugo, for such a beautiful, informative stream. BDW waiting for the new classes in the course." Yes, I am now recording, Sarvesh, this workshop that you just watched on the class today. I'm recording that now. So yeah, let's do this again, another roll of the dice. And then once we finish the roll of the dice, I'm going to stick around for maybe 10, 15 minutes to just answer some questions, okay? So let's do that. So let me draw another winner. So I'm going to draw another winner and see what happens. Let's see here. So wait a minute. I should just copy this. Give me just a second because I need to kind of make sure I don't forget this. Sorry, guys. I'm just like doing my notes here. Okay, so that's the one. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna do another winner. Let's do one more, and then that's just the questions for you. So I'm gonna draw another one. Okay, this is still drawing. Okay, so now I have a Sovic 572. So winner is a Sovic. I don't know who you are, though. I hope you are here. Let's see here if you're here. So the winner is this, Sovic 572. So are you here still? And are you interested on my Nuke course? Are you here? Oh, he is here. Look at that. He is here. Cool. Are you interested on the course? Do you want it? Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. No, he's here. I just saw him. Cool, man. Are you interested on the course? I hope you are. Okay, excellent. So could you message me privately on social media so that I can kind of like give you the access to the course for free? Okay. So that's it for the giveaways. Sorry guys if you didn't win. There's more to come later on. You know, like I'll have more giveaways during the next few months, and don't worry, there's always giveaways. I'm always kind of doing as many giveaways as possible. You know, so don't worry too much about it. Like you know, I'll try to do more giveaways. Now let's do some answers, some questions. I have some questions here, so let's just read them a bit. If you guys want to stick around for a few more minutes where we're going to do some questions. If you don't want to stick around, thank you so much for being here. And, you know, good luck with everything, and I hope you have a great day. I will make this stream available tomorrow once I put all the chapters so that you can follow along, you know. So, yeah. So let me just, let me just, oh, there's some trolls here. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for the kind words. So I have a lot of questions. So I'm going to go through them as fast as I can, okay? So let's see here. So I have a question here from Assad. He says, anyone here who can teach me Nuke? Yes, I am here. So Luis Carlo de Jesus is asking, how old are you? I am 42. I'm going to be 43. Art of David says, what is the key combination on switch AOVs directly on the keyboard? I don't know what you mean, Art of David. What is the key combination to switch AOVs? Oh, to switch AOVs, sorry, that's what I mean. It's the arrow, page up, page down. Page up, page down, you can go from AOV to AOV. So W Nazgol is asking, so for the ZD focus, you need ZDEP raw. How do you render that out of your software? Is that a simple option? So W Nazgul, the ZD focus, the depth pass, the raw depth pass, you just have to go to your render engine. It will be there for sure, the Z depth, and you just have to make sure you don't clamp the Z depth. It has to be unclamped, so you have all the raw stuff on it. Okay, that's why. Let's go to more questions here. So Ari Krishan is asking, is there any rhyme remapping used on the crowd for randomization of the action? No, I haven't randomized the action, but I could use using switch nodes. I could randomize them. I have done that, not done that. Cool VFX is asking, can I ask what monitor you're using right now and color space on the monitor? So I'm using a BenQ SW321 and a BenQ SW320. They're both calibrated to Rexon 09 at the moment, but I also calibrate them sometimes to P3 if I'm delivering for film. VFX Lunchbox is asking, I remember you back in the day on the VFX Talk forums from your Mercedes-Benz comp to the Walker. It's great to see your success. Kudos, mate. Oh, thank you so much, VFX Lunchbox. Thank you so much for saying that. I do remember that Mercedes comp, and I do remember the walking comp as well. So thank you. Thank you for saying that. That was like more than 10 years ago. That was when I started. Like, I've been using Nuke for 15 years now. Thank you so much for that. So, Cool VFX is asking, Gamma 2.4 or 1.8? I am running everything on 2.4. Gamma 2.4 is the best way. Obviously, I have less lights. You know, when you look at my studio here, I switch off all the lights. I don't usually have so much lights. You know, I usually switch off these lights here. So if I go in here, and you know, I would switch these two off. You know, so I would have like a much darker environment for me to kind of like grade in Gamma 2.4. So that would be what I would do. I'm just gonna put the lights on. The lights are on now, just for the sake of it. Let's see here. Cool VFX is asking. Let's see. Roman Boniface is asking, what is the brand of your keyboard? So my keyboard is an Editor Keys. It's like a LED Final Cut Pro Editor Keys. That's what the brand it is. Art of David is asking, is it possible to render a Nuke script on a farm? Yes, it is. It is possible, but obviously don't forget that if you want to do it on the farm, you would have to put all the assets inside the farm as well. Yes, Brian, I have been using Nuke for 15 years. I am old as I am. Before everyone goes, by the way, I just wanted to thank, because I'm going to continue doing some questions, but before everyone goes, I want to really thank the Foundry, ActionVFX, and Fox RenderFarm. Without these three companies, I would have never been able to do this stream, and I would never be able to have the footage and the render that Sajeel made, so that we could distribute it to everyone. So thank you so much to Foundry, ActionVFX, and Fox Render. Without the support of you three, we wouldn't have done this. So thank you so much. And obviously, special thanks to ActionVFX by giving a giveaway and everything. You guys are the best. Like, thank you. I just wanted to say that out before we all kind of go away and venture, because I already see like people leaving. So thank you so much for that, guys. Let's continue with the questions. I'll do a few more. Let's see here. So W Nazgul says, but is deep compositing harder for your PC? Yes, it is. Deep compositing is much heavier because you have information of the pixels behind. So all the passes will be much heavier. All the renders will be much heavier, much more gigabytes per second. It will be much more complicated to comp, but the advantages are amazing. So I prefer to use deep compositing, you know. Let's see here. VFX Buddy says, any suggestions or advice for and VFX Buddy says, any suggestions or advice for a 70-year-old beginner? Well, I mean, I think you just need to start learning compositing or learning CG. There's so many online courses. You know, you can take courses with Victor Perez. You can take courses with Steve Wright. You can take courses at Scape Studios. You can take courses at Gnome Workshop. There's so many places out there. You guys need to understand, 15 years ago when I was starting, there was nothing, you know. Or you can join my course as well, obviously. I'm just saying a bunch of courses that people have out there. So and of course, the Foundry website has a bunch of tutorials for free as well you can watch. So, yeah. Let's see here. Roman is asking, what do you think about roto only in Nuke? Do you have any tips for that? Well, roto in Nuke is really good. Like, you just need to make sure you break up your edges, break up your shapes as much as possible, you know, so that you have a complete division of every single object on the body. So breaking up shapes is really the most important part. There's so many questions. Jesus Christ, you guys are just asking too many questions. There's so many questions. What do I do? Like, this never ends. I'm gonna do a few more. If you guys don't mind, I'll do a few more. I hope you guys don't mind. Let's see here. Tony Hudson says, how is it preferable to use Cryptomatte? Cryptomatte will handle motion blur as well. So I prefer to use deep compositing because it allows me to integrate other layers into the 3D system, as you saw. Cryptomatte is different. Cryptomatte is just a 2D layer that you're using with pre-molds. I prefer deep because it's more accurate. You can then be on the 3D system, you can use lights, you can use motion blur, you can use all these things that you get from the 3D system using the ray tracer. That's why I prefer to use deep. But, you know, to everyone its own, you can use Cryptomatte and do the same thing, of course. I just prefer to use deep, and deep compositing is the industry standard for most film productions. I've done deep compositing for the last 3 years now on all my projects as well. Let's see here. W. Nazgul is saying, interesting question, is deep fully eliminates rotos, and how do you need to combine them? It doesn't eliminate roto, no. I mean, you still have to roto. Of course you still have to roto. Let's see here. VFX Buddy says, can you get into roto just by learning it in Nuke, or do you need silhouette? Yeah, silhouette is the industry standard for roto, so I would say that silhouette would be a good idea, but you can definitely do it in Nuke because it's really transferable. You can transfer the stuff that you know on boats, you know. Let's see here. Etan Daya says, does deep data also transfer instance info? I'm not sure what you mean, sorry. Gerard Motai says, why don't you put the stock into cards before putting in a particle system so they don't always face the camera? Yes, I could do that, Gerard. I could put it on cards, and I've done that in the past. But in this situation, it was just faster to do the particles facing the camera, so because the angle was right for this specific shot. But I have done that in the past. I have done cards particle systems where you use cards instead. So that's definitely a good idea, Gerard. You can do both, and depends on what you're trying to comp. Let's see here. Art of David says, what do you think about Blackmagic Fusion? I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion. I don't use Fusion. Merard Farzi says, maybe I know the size of the render image for both versions, Deep and Beauty. I'm not sure what you mean. Render House, can't you do randomization those particles? Yes, I can. Let's see here. The guy is sitting wrong. Is that so? I've already answered that question. Grish says, does Deep Render slow down rendering? Yes, it does. It's so much slower. So much slower. So be aware of that. So let's see here. PS Craft, ever got the missing braces error on one of your Nuke scripts that crash after you work it for hours? I have, yes. So that's why I version up a lot, because that happens a lot, and then you kind of lose a lot of material. You know, you lose a lot of things. So be careful with that. That you need to always version up. You know, otherwise it's going to become a problem. Guys, I really would like to ask you to stop asking questions, because I am still going through the questions we had already, okay? So I'm answering all of them. I'm just like, at least all the ones that Sajeel has put on the chat. Sajeel was the moderator, and he's put all of them here. See here, okay. Mr. Packraft says, how do you handle the motion blur? You have it on the people, but not on the render. Would the alpha be weird from the people? So the reason I put it on the people is because I am not going to do it that way. I'm going to motion blur separately. I'm going to motion blur everything together. So I'm going to render out the people without motion blur, and then I'm going to add motion blur to them. So I'm not going to comp this shot this way. I was just showing everyone how I was doing it, okay? Let's see here. Tan Moi Hoi says, is it possible to track a card point in 3D? Of course, not match move with deep data, so you don't need locators export from CG. Well, yes, you can. The problem with that is that the deep information only shows you where the camera angle is. So for the cars that were off screen, I didn't know where the lights were. That's the problem, because deep only shows you what's visible to camera. So you don't know where the car is outside camera, and that's a problem. That's why I can't use it that way. Still need to do the locators. I always bring in geometry into Nuke. Okay, I'm gonna go into the last questions now. So Rick Fastly says, what's the secret to realistic renders? Yeah, it is lens flares, lens dirt, lens distortion. Anything you can put on lenses would be the secret to make it realistic. Bayasur asks, do I need to learn Nuke for film while I work in an animation company? Well, you only need to learn Nuke if you're going to be a compositor in film, because Nuke is the industry standard for compositing in film. So if you want to work in as a compositor, then you need to know Nuke, yes. If you're just an animator, then no, you don't need to know Nuke because you're an animator. Sachin Darwad says, do some discounts on your course, please. Yes, I will be doing some discounts at some point, especially on Black Friday, and on certain other days I will do discounts. Don't worry. You can also contact me. I'm very happy to do installments if you prefer as well. Okay, so VFX Buddy, I already answered that question. Best way of learning Nuke for a beginner. I would suggest if you want to learn Nuke, you maybe want to look at Steve Wright. You want to maybe look at Victor Perez. You might want to look at the Foundry's website. They have a YouTube channel just for learning as well. You want to look at my course as well. You want to look at GNOME Workshop, at Scape Studios. There's a bunch of courses out there as well. Studio Animation says, please do a roto tutorial. I have roto prep tutorials. It's just that it's on my course. I don't usually do them on YouTube now because there's so many already. I tried to do on YouTube things that don't exist. That's what I did today. I did something that are not very visible on YouTube. So let's see here. Manny Moore says, what's the distribution of Linux used at the mill? Linux at the mill was CentOS. I'm not sure what they use now, but it was CentOS at least until 4 years ago. It was CentOS. That's what I was using there, and that's what I use as well. Tim Tomley says, do you use CanTools? Yes, I do use CanTools and Mocha Pro as well. I love CanTools. They're amazing. You should really go in and look into them because they are amazing plugins as well. Okay, let's see more questions here. I'm at the end now. Do you like Mondays? I like this. Brian Curtis says, do you like Mondays? No, I don't like Mondays. Sovik Mondlaf says, I render something in CGI. Doesn't already contain lens distortion based on the lens value. I put it in the camera inside 3D. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. You can always render the lens distortion in CG, of course. I prefer to render it in Nuke because I prefer to have an overscan on the render, and then I put it on Nuke because then I can control it and add to it and put more stuff if I want to. I prefer to have a clean render from CG, but that's, up to you. Depends on the company's pipeline as well. VFX Buddy is saying, doesn't it hurt your eyes for working too much? Yes, it does. I have optical nerve damage. And I have worked too much and my eyes hurt. Yes, they do. That's why I need to stop this stream because we've been going on for almost 3 hours. Okay, so Baisur says, do you need to learn Nuke for film even if... No, that's already a question. EMVF, thank you so much for being here, man. EMVF, is better render the people in 3D or better to add them in comp? I don't know, man. You could do it in 3D for sure. You can use Massive, but... I also think in Nuke is better because then you can color correct them individually. You can change their shirts. You can do a lot of things. So I prefer to do them in Nuke but you can do them in 3D for sure. Martin is asking, is it possible to generate mattes from DEEP like the position pass and rotate them like position pass for colorimetrics mode? Yeah, you can generate mattes from DEEP using, yeah, for sure. We did that on the tutorial. Dira Shetty it says, is there any way to fixing missing close brace errors? No, there isn't really. I haven't found one way. I just have multiple versions so I don't lose anything. Let's see here. Vivek Suvarna says, wouldn't you need 2.6 gamma for P3 delivery? Yes, I would, but I'm not doing P3 right now. I'm doing 2.4 because I'm doing Rexness 09 delivery. So Rexness 09 would be 2.4. That would be what I would prefer for it. So And yes, I am using an output video card. This is something I didn't show. I'll show it real quick here. So if you guys look here, I am using a video card. So if you go in here, you see here, where is it? It's here. You see here, I'm using the Blackmagic Ultra 4K Mini, which outputs all the way to 4K. So I'm using two things in here. I have the Ultra Studio 4K Mini, which outputs me 4K, up to 4K on 444 on either Rec 9 or Rec 2020. And then I have a Terranex setup as well that allows me to convert and add an actual LUT. So I have a LUT installed on the video output so that I have a proper calibrated LUT on my video display. So that's how I've set up my pipeline. I have videos about this on my streams if you want to check it out. I'm going to continue the last questions. So last questions here. Let's see here. Where was I? And yes, VFX, sorry, Survarna. That's how I control and bypass the ICC profile so that I don't have any gamma restrictions. So that way, video card, I can bypass the ICC profile of the computer. Let's see here. Montreal is asking, how can I promote or support your desk channel? Well, thank you so much for asking that. Montreal, you can just become a Patreon on my Patreon and support the channel, or you can become a member on YouTube as well. It's only £3. So thank you so much for wanting to support my channel. Much appreciated. Dilios30 says, is it better to render motion blur in CG or only do depth of field in Nuke, or both depth of field and motion blur? I prefer to do motion blur in CG and then depth of field in Nuke. Obviously, depends on the company, depends on the pipeline. I prefer it that way because I like to control depth of field. But motion blur, I think it's best to do it in CG because it just looks better in CG than using a vector pass, you know. Daniel is asking, do you choose Nuke to do your tracking? No, I only use Nuke tracking if it's a simple shot. If it's a really complicated shot, I would use a proper tracking software. So Neko is asking, your course on Patreon is focused on VFX. I want to work in CG and side by side. I want to learn VFX. So buying your course will help me in CG compositing. So Neko, my course covers everything from roto, prep, keying, painting, and CG. So if you just want to learn CG, maybe don't buy the course because I cover everything on the Nuke pipeline, not just CG compositing. So maybe wait until I release more CG classes because I am doing some workshops in CG. So right now, if you only want to focus in CG, then the course might not be a good idea. You know, Bromland Pictures is asking, would Nuke be easier to learn if you were a user of Cinema 4D? I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. Do you recommend any books for Nuke? I'm not gonna do that now. I have done streams about books. You can kind of check out my channel and check that out. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Montreal says, I support this channel if I see more tutorial sessions like CompLayer. Yes, man, it's up to you, man. If you don't want to support the channel, you don't have to support the channel, Montreal. I do streams and tutorials all the time. I'm on Twitch almost like 2 or 3 times a month, and I do a lot of tutorials and everything, and I've done hundreds of tutorials in streams. So it's up to you if you think I don't do enough. I do a lot, so I try to do my best. So sorry if you think that, Montreal, that I don't do enough. But yeah, CompLayer is a different world. He's doing other things and other sessions and other things. I don't want to really do the same. So let's see here. I think we're gonna be done. Yeah. No, I don't think I have went through the Sajeel. I have done that course. Yes, I have done that question. So I think we're gonna wrap up. So I do have. I think we're gonna wrap up. So again, like I said, I really want to thank Foundry. I really want to thank ActionVFX, and I really want to thank Fox Render for supporting and allowing us to do this stream. I also want to thank Sajeel for doing the CG and also for supporting this chat and also becoming a moderator. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I hope you guys. One last question. Premiere Studios is asking, have you done some VFX work? I have, yes. I'm working on a lot of things, but I can't show you because it's NDA. I'm working currently on a game cinematic for Rebellion, and I'm working for Sony PlayStation on a few things, and I'm working in a lot of other things that I can't talk about. So yeah, so thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you so much for attending the stream. Like I said, I'll have the stream up tomorrow with chapters so that you can follow along. And yeah, I guess, guys, thank you so much for sticking around for so long. And I'll see you soon. I'm going to switch my camera here so that you can see me say goodbye. So thank you so much for everything. And I'll see you guys in the next stream. Bye. Bye. Bye-bye.